Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my partner.
I am Jimmy Westman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another crazy, action-packed, death-defying...
A toboggan ride?
It's like a toboggan ride. That's what I'm picturing. Like if your brakes went out going down one of those, like a Swiss mountain, and you just have to stay on it or else you're going to plummet to your death. That's what we have here for you. We're all going to plummet to our death today. Thank you guys for joining us. This is truly one of the crazier episodes, and I say that a lot, but this is true. This is nonstop insanity. Thank you, folks, so much for your iTunes reviews this week. First of all, they mean the world to us. We've said it a million times, or 120 to be exact, but we've said it a lot. The iTunes reviews mean a lot on the business end and on iTunes, and they get you noticed, and they really do. It's when people look at you
How much, James?
in the business for other things.
How much have they gotten you? Have they gotten you noticed?
They've helped us out a lot.
I know,
as a matter
because
of fact.
my belly it feels so great right now.
This episode, due to one of our wonderful listeners getting a hold of the Drake's company.
Several of our wonderful listeners.
Yes, who makes the wonderful devil dogs and ring dings and
yodels.
And yodels
and coffee
cakes and amazing, beautiful products that unfortunately are not available in Arizona.
Right.
So people were sending them to me, and they contacted the Drake's company, who then contacted us.
And said, we cannot
people
sending you things that we don't send you.
We can't have you in the desert without Drake's. And they are the most one. They sent us 4 huge boxes of Drake's products. I am in heaven. This episode is fueled by Ring Ding Sugar.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Drake's. If Drake's are available by you, first of all, if you're not buying them, unless you're a diabetic, I don't know what is wrong with you.
What is wrong with you?
Buy Drake's. They're amazing.
Your kids will so listen to you.
They're so good. Oh, my God. And this is a dream come true. Thank you, Drake, so much. I'm so happy. But yes, your iTunes reviews are huge, so thank you, guys. And if you haven't done it yet, please get on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Tell us you're following instructions or following directions or something good like that. Doesn't matter.
Tell us you love yodels.
Tell us how much you love chocolate-covered devil dogs. Tell us, because we understand.
Yeah.
We understand. We get where you're coming from. Let's all just praise Drake's. If Drake's praise and iTunes reviews isn't enough for you, and you want to be a hero, one of our producers who we honestly worship the ground they walk on, because they keep the show going like a Drake's fueled sugar attack. I love it.
Angry mob of people.
I love it.
Fueled by Drake's cakes.
I can't wait. I love it so much. That's a happy mob.
Yeah.
They're so happy.
There's no
on
their
faces.
pitchforks. There's none of those tiki torches.
No, they're dancing in the streets. They'd be so happy.
Arms around their fellow brother. Black, brown, doesn't matter. Everybody's
Black,
got
white.
a devil dog. Everybody's happy.
Israelis and Palestinians together. You want to? There's two coffee cakes coming in a package. Would you like one? I'll take one.
Share one
now
with
we're
your
brothers.
Israel brother.
Now we're Drake's can bring the world together. We love you.
Drop them on the Gaza Strip. It's all over.
If you want to be a hero like Drake's and be one of our producers, you can do that by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports. You can make a donation there, or over at PayPal even, using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Yeah.
That's to make a one-time donation, or you can make everything really easy and just go to our website, shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's the one.
And you can do all those things from that website, plus plus access the shirts and the towels. It's beach season or pool season. Get your towels.
It's get wet season.
Do your stuff. We have everything there. Go there now. Do that. Never mind that shit, Jimmy. We got to get to this because this is crazy.
Good.
We often play the game. I don't know if it's a game, but we often pose the question, I should say, of idiot or asshole.
Yes.
We've done that many times. Is this guy more of an idiot or more of an asshole?
Right.
Sometimes it's on the fence. He's kind of an idiot, kind of an asshole. Sometimes complete idiot. You're just like, what an idiot. Not really an asshole, just an idiot. Kind of like a Bob Probert's kind of an idiot.
Just
he's
blew it.
Not really an asshole. Right. He's just kind of an idiot.
Maybe he is an asshole, though.
He's a bit of an asshole.
Yeah. I mean, he affected other people a few times, but when it's all on them, complete asshole. Or complete idiot.
Complete idiot.
Right.
This guy, 1,010% asshole. Right. No idiot. He's you could call his actions idiotic, knowing his consequences, but it's because he's such an asshole that he refuses to acknowledge it, not because he's too stupid to. Okay. That's the thing here. Stupidity's not a factor with this guy.
It's a good teaser.
It is. He's an intelligent guy, and he's smarter than how he fucking acts, which makes it worse.
Yeah.
Worse.
Fuck yeah. Makes your assholery way worse.
Yeah. If you have like Rudy Pochak walking around with severe brain damage from being pummeled in the head by Bob Probert for fucking 10 years, you go, you know what? I kind of feel for the guy. Right. More of an idiot than an asshole. This guy, you're just like, nope, all asshole. Okay. So let's get right into it. It's baseball.
Yeah.
It's baseball season. So
he
let's
has
do this.
Nothing to blame.
No, nothing to blame. No brain damage. It is Milton O'Bell Bradley.
Milton Bradley?
Junior. He's a fucking junior.
Milton Bradley's a junior?
I've never been less surprised by a piece of information that when I finally looked him up and I went, this is junior behavior through and through.
What bums me out most, and he's not an heir to the fortune of the board games.
There is no.
How are there two assholes named Milton Bradley?
Many assholes named Milton Bradley. Wait till you hear it later on. If you don't think I've collected a group of them, you're out of your fucking mind, because I have.
Remember that as soon as you said that.
Oh, yeah, it's coming. But this Milton Bradley is the most junior of all juniors. Okay. He should be it should be like Otis Nixon, where he should be Milton Jr. Bradley Jr. He's a double junior candidate, this guy. Okay. Which is kind of like, like being up for like a doctorate or something like that, except much worse. So he's born April 15th, 1978. He's born in Harbor City, California, which is in L.A.
Yeah.
It's just west of Long Beach out there in L.A. His mother's name is Charlena Rector. Okay. Yeah. I know. I was going to say, I know Jimmy's never going to let the name Rector slide by him, especially not only about 7 minutes into the show. He's going to fucking, later on, I might be able, once I've pummeled you with enough stuff. But this early, it's coming.
How does she get away with that?
Well, I have no idea. But this woman, she's a good woman, apparently.
Yeah.
She tries her hardest to raise Milton right. Mm-hmm. It's difficult. She grew up, while he was growing up, she worked as a clerk at the local Safeway by the house there. So, not a ton of money for Milton Bradley.
But it's union work.
It's true. It's true. Mm-hmm. It is union work, but it's not high-paying union work, we'll say. His father, on the other hand, Milton Bradley Sr., obviously, this is an amazing story of how his name came to be. Yeah. His father was a veteran of the Vietnam War.
All right.
He was awarded a Purple Heart for his service.
All right.
Which is, that's brave and good for him. Problem is, it seemed to fuck him up pretty much.
Really?
He didn't seem to be in too good a shape in the real world here. Milton was only named Milton Bradley Jr. when Milton Bradley Sr. came in and decided he was just going to fill out the birth certificate without even telling Charlena Rector.
Oh, my God.
He just said, the boy's name's Milton Bradley Jr. Here you go, and handed it back. But she didn't even know about it. And later on, when she was talking about naming him, they were like, we already processed the paperwork. She's like, what are you talking about? They already did it.
A man came in, flashed a Purple Heart, said, don't say another word.
That's it. And, he threatened to cut my throat like a Viet Cong. Right. I don't know what that means, but
he's something about an ear necklace.
He said,
I don't know.
A Columbia necktie he was talking about. I don't know what he's doing, but we just decided to let him fill out the paperwork. It didn't seem like a big deal.
Yeah.
He didn't want to steal the baby or anything.
Baby's already circumcised and everything.
Yeah. So according According to
he did it with a field knife.
He did it with a bayonet, Jimmy. Let's be honest here. His field knife he couldn't find it. He lost that, and he's like, well, fuck it, bayonet.
I got this one all handy.
Didn't even take it off the rifle.
Right.
That's impressive marksmanship. Yeah. Just if he could do it,
all done
with his hands 3 feet away from the actual fucking unit there.
Away from the penis.
That's pretty good stuff. So.
All right.
We're talking about
no more baby dicks.
We're talking about PTSD Vietnam veterans circumcising their forcefully named children with a bayonet at the end of an M16. How did we get there? I don't fucking know. That's crime and sports in a nutshell, folks. How did we get there?
That's we have Rector.
Wow. So apparently. There's a reason for his erratic behavior. In addition to being a little bit fucked up in the head, he also has problems like he's really addicted to cocaine at the time.
Oh, boy.
So the mother says that he was very addicted to cocaine, physically abused Charlena all the time, and also was homeless for several years on and off here and there.
Yeah.
So his father, who burst in and circumcised him on a apparently high on cocaine, named him after himself, beat the mother up, and then would sleep in the streets and then come home and sleep in the streets and come home. So kind of a rough deal here. Bradley had 4 half-brothers and sisters from Charlena's previous marriage. So she had a marriage, had 4 kids, had a whole life and family and all that, got divorced, got out of that. And
finds a vagrant.
Finds a hobo to fucking hook up with down by the train yard.
Whoops a daisy, he has a baby.
And she said, "Hey, baby, look at that bindle. That bindle really fills out your shape, and I think I want you to come home with me and put a baby in me while you're at it. By the way, there's 4 of my other children at home. I think you'd be a good influence on them."
He's like, "Don't worry about me. I'll disappear for days on end."
Is that cocaine around your nose? Great. I think I'll name a child after him.
Do you carry your bindle on the end of that bayonet? That's interesting.
Is that a bindle on your shoulder, or are you just happy to see me? I think that's how you come up. That's how you come onto a hobo in a train yard, I believe. You do that. Done. In.
9 months later, you'll be singing praise.
Oh, you will. You'll be singing lots of things like hobo fire songs, whatever that might be. Hobo traveling song music. I feel like in the 30s when the hobos were on trains, I feel like they had to have some sort of... some sort of spirituals.
There was some hymns.
Some hymns they would sing
on a
something.
Yeah.
Well, that in between raping each other, because that's all they did back then was rape each other and stab each other. If you've ever seen the Pan's Ram documentary there, read the book, it's all they talk about is just constant hobo train rape. It's just...
Well, I mean, what else are you going to fill your... You're going across the country in a fucking rail car.
But it was every day, it was it's 50-50 I get raped today by a bunch of hobos if you got on a train car.
There's so much poker you can play, or gin rummy or whatever.
I suppose so, and so many beans you can eat out of the can. I don't know.
Eventually, somebody's getting raped.
Someone's getting raped. That's what it is.
Can you imagine you're running to catch a train car. You finally grab it and you pull yourself
I'm gonna get out of this.
You're exhausted.
Getting out of this one-horse town. Finally, the pastor doesn't understand me. My father doesn't understand me. Wants me to work for his feed company. I'm not going to do it. Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, some real honest to goodness, rail people from the heartland of the USA. How's it going, guys? What's that? Hey, is that a knife? No, don't take my... Hey, stop cutting my pants off with that knife. What are you doing?
You get on the train. Your face is soaked from sweat from running for a quarter to a half mile trying to catch this train. You get on, and then there's 30 men in that car going, "Welcome."
And they're all going to rape you. All of them.
And you're too tired to run.
And then they're going to eat beans afterwards, which makes it worse, I feel like.
You can't get away. You just used all your energy to get on this motherfucker.
I feel like if someone eats pork and beans to celebrate the occasion, I feel like it makes it more... Makes it worse.
Champagne of homeless rape.
It really is. The champagne. Well, I don't know about the champagne, but the caviar, certainly. Pork and beans. Ladies and gentlemen, Vandykamp Pork and Beans brings to you Crime and Sports today. Vandykamp Pork and Beans, the caviar of homeless rape. Thank you.
We're going to have so much Vandykamps in the lobby next week.
It sure as fuck won't be from Vandykamps, though. I'll tell you that much.
I'll tell you what, I'm not eating it.
See? Those guys would never eat Drakes. Ever. They wouldn't. They'd go,
No way.
The good people at Drake's don't want us to do this.
Too damn happy.
The people at Vandy Camps don't give a shit. God, I hope Vandy Camps doesn't own Drake's, because then we're really fucked. Whoever owns them, I hope.
Drake's owns Vandy Camps.
Oh, God damn it.
Fuck, what have we done?
What have we done?
We should have Wikipedia'd this first.
Shit, all right. We're going to have to take a break and do some more research on the corporate fucking family tree of Vandy Camps and Drake's corporations. So somehow, from there, Milton went to church every Sunday. So there's that.
Did he really?
He did. That's literally my next fact.
That's fantastic.
Charlena tried really hard to raise all 5 of these kids right.
Yeah.
She was one of these women who, not taking any shit, grab you by your goddamn hand and drag you to church. God, you put your goddamn clean clothes. I'm dragging you to church. It's Sunday. Get your lazy ass out of bed and let's do this. Mm-hmm. She'd drag him there every single Sunday. He said his entire childhood. He never missed a Sunday, and he also said he got perfect attendance in school every year. His mom would not let him miss a day of school.
Yeah.
Just wasn't allowed to miss a day of school. His mom would drag, you get your clothes on, you're taking you to school.
I hate that award so much.
Oh, my God.
That award is congratulations on being the vehicle that got everybody else sick.
Good job, everybody.
You fucking jerks.
Or you were it's just an award for having the most strict mother.
Right.
Who had to work 2 jobs and wouldn't let you stay at home in the house without her all day.
There's no way that you made it all year long without getting sick. You just brought that shit to school with you little bastard.
You spread disease throughout the herd, definitely.
Use your PTO to keep your sick kid home.
Yeah,
that's
good. Yeah, you got union. Your union at Safeway in California. Get some PTO. Good job, Jimmy. Nice sussing that out. So Milton grows up. He starts playing sports in addition to church. That's pretty much what he does: is church, sports, and school. He goes to Long Beach Poly High, which is what Snoop Dogg went there. My cousin went there, and so did Snoop Dogg. My cousin had Snoop Dogg in his yearbook because he went there at the same time.
I just saw a video of Snoop Dogg working out. Doing
now?
Yes.
Oh, well,
I had no idea how
at the time.
unathletic that motherfucker is.
Well,
it's sad. It's disappointing.
He's all weird, and he's like a spider.
Yeah, his legs are like fucking, they're so skinny.
He's like a spider that someone plucked 4 of the legs off of. Yeah. And it was like, well, he's got 4 left. He'll use 2 of his arms, right. I guess, and he'll be fine. He'll learn how to shoot a basketball.
It's depressing.
Something. He can box, so you can get in there, hit a baseball, swing a golf club, I don't know, something.
Yeah, but all the shit he talked about sports and stuff, you'd think that the guy knew what he was, knew how to do it. No.
He's just sort of tall, I think, is all it is.
He's not banging with power forwards. They'll knock his skinny ass over.
Definitely not. But also Cameron Diaz went there at the same time, the movie star. Also, baseball-wise, Tony Gwynn went there. That's his high school. Tony Gwynn and his brother Chris Gwynn went there, and I remember my cousin saying that it was like this high school's like a shrine to Tony Gwynn, basically, because he went there in the late. He went
down to the Padres too.
Well,
after that.
He went there in the late '80s, and Tony Gwynn was like a perennial all-star or whatever by then. So he was a big deal. He played baseball there. Was a teammate of Chase Utley, the future Philly champion, World Series champion, and target of Mac from Always Sunny's Love. On several episodes. He graduated Milton Bradley with a 3.7 grade point average.
Did he really?
Perfect attendance, 3.7 grade point average. So think about that. He's a smart guy.
No excuse to be a dick.
Nope. He's a smart guy, comes from a mother who teaches him right from wrong, tries to at least.
Right.
Father's an idiot, and you can't discount that, and especially if the father physically abuses the mother and he sees that, you can't discount that. But the mother tried her best, sent him to school, was not a problem in school, played baseball well, and graduated with a 3.7 average.
Yeah.
So, fuck.
She did her best to raise him right and then threw him into a system that can...
she raised him.
Deter a child that's done well.
When he graduates high school, she's got to go, did my fucking job.
You bet.
Single fucking mother.
Yep.
All these fucking kids. Worked at Safeway, took him to church, made him go to school.
Damn right.
Smart, made him, he's walking up there with his goddamn cap and gown. You had to feel good as a parent right then. You did your job. He that's kind of how she feels too. She's proud of him. The problem is it doesn't last for him because he's a fucking, like we said, asshole. Asshole is the best way to describe him.
Did he go to college for baseball?
Well, actually, he committed to Cal State Long Beach there. He commits
Hometown
there.
boy.
but instead he's drafted in the MLB, which happens a lot.
Yeah, that's
pretty
awesome.
much. Most of the guys that go to college are drafted also, and they're drafted every year they're in college. They just, that's what the teams. You take your chance. You have rights to him for a year, so it's like, do we draft him now, and then will he think he'll come out of college? Probably not. Whatever. So
what did he do?
Well, he instead. By the way, he grows up. He's 6 foot tall, 215 pounds.
Good sized boy.
Throws right-handed. Yep. Don't say boy, please, Jimmy. He didn't mean it like that. See, this is what happens. He said that because he's graduating from high school,
he's
meaning
still a boy.
He's a child.
Right.
You can't say
that about a black guy.
A black professional athlete who we're talking about is athletic, and you go, he's a. You can't do that.
Good sized boy.
Yeah, he's right there's a good sized boy. That's been said hundreds of years ago for terrible reasons, so we can't. No, Jimmy. If I didn't catch that, we would have got fucking tweets about that one. I'm sorry. I know what you meant.
Yeah.
I speak Jimmy. So,
yes. Fluent.
Jesus, 6 foot 215. Throws
big fella.
Good, big fella there. That's right. That's a big man.
Yeah.
He throws right, and he's a switch hitter, which is valuable, and he's a good switch hitter. June 4th, 96. Like we said, he's committed to Long Beach there, but he is drafted in the MLB draft. This year is Chris Benson's the number 1 overall pick, the pitcher for the Pirates. He's decent right-hander for a long time, actually. Yeah. Travis Lee, 2nd overall pick by the Twins, and then he ended up being the Diamondbacks thought he was going to be like their savior of a first baseman. He was just kind of a mediocre, plain, boring white guy. He was the baseball player equivalent of a cup of plain yogurt, just sitting over at first base. Hitting 254. Just there's
did he play
plain
outfield
yogurt
too?
Hitting 254.
I feel like he played
probably
outfield
after
too.
a while they were like, look, we got to move you around because you're terrible. You're just terrible.
Because I think it was him. I went to a game and sat on the outfield bleachers because they were $12 for the tickets. I'm like, I'll give this shit a try.
Yeah, it's a decent view
sat
too.
On the fucking
Speaking of Diamondbacks, where they play, what is it, Chase Field?
Chase Field now. It used to be
Bank One
Ballpark, where they called it the Bob.
Either way, it looks like an airplane hanger and sounds like one from the inside. It's like, they're playing baseball in
when
here.
When it was new, it was amazing though.
No, it wasn't. I was at the first game.
But I mean, like the top of it now, because we live in a fucking desert and all the dust settled, it looks like it's about to fall apart.
But like the only stadium I'd ever been to was Yankee Stadium, and then we went there, and I'm like, this place is an airplane hangar. Like, why are they closing the roof? This is terrible. Open that.
But the old ones, it's one of the oldest in the league now. I don't know if you knew that. It's depressing.
It's getting old now.
And the Yankee Stadium that you went to was so much older.
Oh, yeah, and it was so much better.
And so now you look at this
even
thing.
Even Shea was better, and Shea wasn't even really a stadium. It was just a swamp with seats around it.
This thing's barely 20 years old, and it looks ancient. It looks like shit.
Oh, it does. It looks like
so
outdated technology because they tried to make it look all cutting edge, state of the art in 1997.
The problem with that is that now it looks like it's a fucking 1997 stadium.
It's pretty sad.
Technology. Anyhow, so I was sitting on the bleachers, and on the first row, and a ball came towards us, and I was like, I'm going to get this ball, and I couldn't, and it dropped short, and I think it was Travis Lee caught the ball and hit the chain link, and he had a mouth full of shit, and his face hit the chain link, and it went fucking all over us.
That's hilarious.
He spit.
I don't know if Travis
like
Lee,
a fountain.
I'm sure they moved him around at some point because, like I said, they were trying to figure out what to do with him because he just wasn't living up to what they. Yeah. I remember people be like, "Oh, he lives around here and rides his bike to the park," and you're like, "That's what
depressing."
Don't care.
Don't give a shit.
People liked him because of that. I was like, I don't give a fuck. He's terrible. What are we talking about? Anyway,
he's saving the environment and wasting our money.
Yeah. Braden Looper, the number 3 overall pick, the pitcher. Billy Koch, the Blue Jays closer for a while there, threw 100 miles an hour, that guy. So the first few guys made the majors. After that, you got, Eric Chavez, number 10, Mark Kotze, Adam Eaton, R.A. Dickey, who is the knuckleballer who's around still, Eric Milton, Gil Mesh, who I always called Gil Douche for some reason, just because he had C-H-E at the end of his name. Guys like that. Nick Beerbrot, also
really?
Diamondbacks. And,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Beerbrot.
Too. Nick Beer, B-I-E-R-B-R-O-D-T. He played for the Diamondbacks.
That is Beerbrot.
And he played for the Brewers. I think he was involved in that big trade they had there.
He was named after a sausage.
You can try to spell it to fucking camouflage that, but as soon as you say that shit, that's beer brat.
It's Nick Beer Brat, and then he went and played for the Brewers.
Hilarious.
Which is perfect, and he should have been their most popular player, but he was terrible, so he's not.
That's beer brat gets put in, it's 99-cent brats over at the stands.
If he could have had a 4 ERA, he would have been the biggest hero ever in Milwaukee. Just drunk guy. Beer brat's the best. 99-cent beer brats when he gets a strikeout every time. Rest of the inning. It's good. So you got to pay for sauerkraut. It's like 75 cents, but it's worth it. It's good. They put a bunch on.
Gross.
So finally, also second round, Jacques Jones, the Twins guy for a long time. Finally, second round, 40th overall by the Montreal Expos. Milton Bradley is chosen. Yeah. So he's a second rounder, which isn't bad. Get a little bit of a signing bonus, and you know, they're not going to give up on you if you have a bad month. Basically, they're going to keep you around for a while.
He stuck around, didn't he? Because he didn't. I mean, when the Expos changed and came to back to America, he was already gone.
He was already gone from them. Yeah, he ends up playing for 8 different teams.
Really?
Because he just can't. He's a mess.
Expos
he's a disaster.
became the Nationals, right?
Expos became. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Also drafted in that draft, Jimmy Rollins was a little bit after him, so they could have had Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah.
And Scott Schoenweisel, it's good that they didn't get him. Sean Chacon, Nick Johnson, the untouchable Yankee prospect for years, and we can't trade him for anybody. And they bring him up, and he goes, "Oh yeah, he hits 260. That's great. He's mediocre. He's going to be a platoon guy. Wonderful. Glad we didn't trade him for anybody for 5 fucking years." Assholes.
Right.
Fuck me. So anyway, Shea Hillenbrand, another one. Good God. Jesus Christ, man.
He played for Diamondbacks too, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, he did. They'll pick up any old pile of shit that they can here. So the 1996 season, Milton is playing for, this is like rookie league ball.
Yeah.
This is like below single A. Yeah. This is just rookie league. This is where they put the high school kids. Okay. But a lot of times they put the college kids right into single A because they're older. They're 3-4 years older, and they have a little more experience. 18-year-old kids are like, you're going to rookie ball, play against a bunch of other 18-year-old kids. This is the Gulf Coast League Expos. Yeah. This is so very exciting.
Could you imagine being good enough that they put you into the majors at, I don't know, 20 years old, and
Ken
you've
Griffey
got
Jr.
a
style.
40-year-old man that's just furious, hates everything, and he's whipping a ball toward you. The pressure had to be insane.
It's nuts. Yeah, anybody who comes up that young, or like back in the day, it's in the 40s, but Bob Feller, who pitched when he was, I want to say 15 years old, he pitched in the major league, 16 years old. It's like, are you kidding me? 16 years old, I couldn't have handled that pressure at all.
God, no.
That was, God damn, you get pulled over with weed in my pocket when I'm 16. I'm going to have a panic attack if a bunch of people shouting shit at me. That's not going to work.
I couldn't.
Fucking Joe DiMaggio at the plate. I got problems.
I could barely function when a cement diesel mechanic was telling me to take out the trash. Forget Joe DiMaggio telling me, you need to swing on the 3-1, kid.
Jimmy's shutting down, man. So, fuck, man.
I will shoot myself in the face tonight.
So 96 Gulf Coast League Expos. Rondell White's also on that team, the future longtime major league. Another guy who played for like 8 teams. I loved Rondell White too for some reason. He played for the Yankees for a while.
He's a classy dude.
Expos. Yeah. He's a good player. He seemed to play hard. I think he was a Reuter too, but I didn't care.
Who gives a shit?
Everybody was. If you want a spot on the team, what are you going to do? You be honorable and fucking go drive a cement mixer? Is that what you're going to do? Because that's what you're going to do at that point.
Well, I gave it my best shot, and here I am.
I want to be an honorable man that makes $38,000 a year in the minor leagues. That's what I want to do.
Really hard, and then wind up in an air ride seat.
I was going to say travel by bus. No. I don't think so.
No.
I never fault anybody for steroids. I don't care.
I can't wait.
I make fun of them when they act like I would never. I'm above that, and then they did. It's like Rafael Palmeiro wagging his finger at Congress, and then they bust him. It's like, you're a douchebag. Come on.
And he takes dick pills. That's
and you
awesome.
He'll cork his bat in any way possible. He doesn't give a fuck. Pills, fucking shots. He's good.
I love it.
So this team, with, like I said, Rondell White, so 2 future major leaguers on the team.
I will also make fun of them. Sorry. If they go and roid like crazy, and then they wind up in a $35,000 a year.
That's pretty funny, too, with their arms sagging down. Not great.
That's hilarious.
Or they look like John Wetland, who looks like he did smoked crack for 14 years, like 3 years after he was retired. Like, what happened to him?
Oh, I quit.
Yeah, quit the roids. Not as puffy anymore. Sorry. So
That's funny.
Milton this year plays in 32 games. It's just a kind of a short league, a short season league too. It's just get him in there. Basically, I've read a lot about this type of shit. Basically, this is to get the guys in there. They've never been away from home before.
Yeah.
This is to get them away from home and to put them on the road for a couple months.
Indoctrinate.
And let them see what it's like to live in hotels and go from place to place and live with his teammates and basically get in the lifestyle.
Live the dream, James.
Live the dream. This isn't even like worrying about baseball.
Right.
This is just get them in there and, so kind of grease the track a little.
First.
Yeah, they don't even care what your baseball is at that point. They just want you to be in there. He plays in 32 games, hits .241 with 1 home run, 12 RBI, and 7 stolen bases.
Not awful.
He's fast. This is the thing about Milton Bradley, too, that's goddamn infuriating.
Yeah.
He can hit. He's a switch hitter. He's a good field. He's a 5-tool kind of a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not 5 all the way, but fucking most of the tools, if he doesn't have it, it's at least 3/4 of the goddamn tool. I mean, he's got a good arm. Yeah. He's got fire, as we'll find out, in his gut, which isn't a tool, but as an intangible. He's a good player, and he's got speed. He can steal bases when he feels like it. He's a good player. So 1997, he's on the Gulf Coast League Expos again, and also the Vermont Expos. So he goes
Two
from
teams.
The Gulf Coast down south to Vermont, which is a change of culture, which is, again, they took him from California, put him on the Gulf Coast, which is way fucking different.
What city was that in? Is that in Louisiana somewhere?
I think it was in Alabama, actually.
Okay.
So, or no, that's Florida. I'm sorry, the Gulf Coast League Expo. So, but like Panhandle, Florida, not like Disney World, Florida, like hillbilly, ding ding diddly do, Florida type shit, like small town murder, Florida, that type of Florida,
Tallahassee, Florida,
way outside of town. So because these are all in these small towns, all these minor league teams. So to go from California to there is a culture shock, and then they're like, send them to Vermont, which is completely different too. So they're trying to indoctrinate them a little bit. They're both short season A-ball leagues. So he plays in 59 games in both leagues, because that's both leagues. Hits .289 over the course of that.
59 in each league?
No, 59 altogether.
Okay.
It's too short.
Like 120.
No.
That's crazy.
It's 2 short seasons.
Got it.
Which in high school you play, 35 games or something. So that's still a big up. .289, 4 homers, 32 RBI, and 9 stolen bases. He got caught stealing 9 times also is a problem. Little erratic when it comes to that. His decision making,
not great.
He makes decisions a little too quickly and
but he sticks to them. But he fucking sticks to them.
Oh, we'll find out how much he sticks to them.
Yeah.
1998, he starts playing for ridiculously named minor league teams, which are always fun. I love stupidly named minor league and like secondary B shit league teams. This is the Jupiter Hammerheads and the Cape Fear Crocs.
Oh boy.
Of A-ball.
Okay.
Once we get into the minors, that's when shit gets silly because they have to have crazy T-shirts to try to sell them to people. Some stupid croc eating a baseball.
Yeah.
You know that's their logo, a croc eating a fucking baseball.
Of course it is.
I don't know, but I'm positive it is.
It fucking better be. And it better be like a cartoon one,
wasn't.
like from Peter Pan.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Oh, yeah. It's a cartoon, definitely.
It doesn't look great.
No, it's not real.
It's not scary.
No, it's definitely not scary.
They
want kids to wear it.
We have a listener in Texas who has, she's a lawyer down there. I'm not going to say her name just in case she doesn't want that shit on there. But she's got an A-ball team that's coming to town and they're naming it. So they've left it up to everybody to name
this
it.
is what happens.
And it's bad.
They
are really bad.
That's what happens.
One of them's
kids
like
vote.
Yeah. One of them though is like
you end up with the Toronto Raptors.
One of them's like a nickname for a dick or something. It's really bad.
Jesus
Christ. There's the prairie dogs, or it's something other than prairie dog. It's sad.
Yeah, it's not really a dick euphemism last I checked, but that sounds bad.
There's 5, and they're all. Oh, no. Each one gets progressively worse.
Let's hope they cheat that vote and just pick the best one. Milton this year in A-ball, regular old A-ball, plays in 142 games. So now we're getting you in there.
Yeah.
Minor league season's a drop shorter than the major league season, so the major league teams can call guys up in September when they expand the rosters.
Got it.
So that's why they end their season and bring guys up. 142 games, he hits .295 with 11 home runs, 84 RBI, and 30 steals.
My Christ.
That's a good fucking season. That's like the major league teams going, oh, hey, hey, now who's this fucking guy down there?
What's your name again?
Yeah, let's that second round draft pick is coming alive here.
Did you say Junior?
Oh, never mind. Fuck it. Unless Griffey is in front of that Junior, we're not interested.
Fuck out of here.
No, it's not going to happen.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
And now back to the show.
So 1999 moves up to AA ball with the Harrisburg Senators.
Yeah.
This is April of 1999. He's suspended for 7 games.
Already?
Oh, yeah. This is his future.
Okay.
Suspended for 7 games for spitting gum at an umpire.
That's a 7-game suspension?
Oh, yeah. You can't touch an umpire.
Oh, he actually hit him?
No, he spit gum at him, which is worse than hitting him. Roberto Alomar.
But, I mean, did he hit him with the gum?
Oh, I don't know if he hit him with the gum. I don't know. 1999 AA footage is probably
right
grainy.
In the face.
But either way, Roberto Alomar turned into the goddamn Antichrist for spitting at that umpire the one time. That was like, he's still to this day, people hate Roberto Alomar because he spit at that umpire.
He was so good, though.
He was so good. I know so many people where if you're like Roberto Alomar, like, that fucking asshole spit at that umpire. The umpire had like a sick kid or something. There's a backstory to it. And Alomar was talking shit to him and then spit in his face.
Oh, about the sick kid first?
There was something said about there was something
That's
bad.
pretty cheap.
Said, yeah, and he called him a cunt, I think, also.
That's awesome.
Certain words you can't say to umpires. They always say that. Like, you can call a guy an asshole, and that's fine, but you can't call him, like, whatever. You can't call him a cocksucker, because then you're thrown out. It's one of those things.
Well, I'm on the teeter-totter right now. And you just, like, with the sick kid, I went down and he's a dick, then called him a cunt. I'm up. I like him.
I like that. I like that. Now
like
he's doing something. There we go. It's inflating. Your balloon is pumping up. So he's suspended for 7 games for spitting gum at the umpire, like I said. This is after he had been ejected. He's mad because he was hit by a pitch and charged the mound and was ejected for it. He's so angry for being thrown out of the game after charging the mound that he spit his gum at the umpire. So I think the 7 game was cumulative for charging the mound and spitting your gum at the umpire. Then they're like, we can't just give him 2 fucking games for that. About 3 for one and 4 for the other, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, as soon as you charge the mound, you should already in your head be like, well, I'm not playing tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm for the rest of today anyway. Well, this is the end of my day. I'll be headed to the showers. might as well go all out because I'm not going to need my energy for the rest of the day. But the thing is, you'd think this is the type of thing that like a big league team would look at. There's another one. Was it Young? Who was the guy? God damn it, now it's escaping me. The guy who hit a guy with a bat in the minor leagues.
Oh, my God.
And ended up playing in the majors for years, but having a lot of troubles and shit like that. And it's like, well, they give you hints. And
he swung at somebody with the bat or threw it at it?
I can't remember what it was. It wasn't as funny as like Hideki Arabu, who charged the plate, which is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. But this was different. But they're blinded. He spit gum at an umpire. If he's hitting 200, you go, this guy's a dick and he's not productive. But if he hits 329 with 12 home runs, 50 RBI, and 14 steals over 87 games.
Oh, boy.
Then the team says, he's fiery.
Yeah.
He's got fire in his gut. That's all it is. We need guys like that.
Yeah.
Seventh game of the World Series. This guy's going to fucking dive into the wall for us. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the mentality. That's the silver hair. As soon as a coach thinks that, his hair begins to turn silver. A front office man is like, I'm going to make some money off this troubled person.
All you got to do
not
is
going to get him any help.
Bazooka out of the fucking dugout. We'll be all right.
Not getting him any help or anything, but I am going to profit from him and just hope that it doesn't explode till after he retires. That's all. So he does well, moves up to AAA in 2000, where he plays for Ottawa. He hits .304 over 88 games, and then he's called up to the big leagues.
Yeah.
So he makes his major league debut July 19th of 2000. It's versus the Mets.
Yeah.
He goes 3 for 5 with an RBI in his major league debut.
Not bad.
That's great.
Yeah.
Once again, that'll get you some attention. That'll do. You notice the new kid when he's 3 for 5 in his in his first day.
They started him and he ran through the order all day.
Yeah.
That's great.
They put him in the lineup. He had 5 at-bats. Is a good day.
What's he play? What position?
Outfield.
Okay.
They move him all around. Mainly not all around, really.
Okay.
So he plays 42 games in the majors, 154 at-bats, that turns out to be. Hits .221 with 2 homers, 15 RBI, and 2 steals.
Okay.
Which is fine. Yeah. He's 22 years old.
Yeah.
Just came up. They're just looking at him. He's got some speed. They can pinch run him in once in a while, that sort of thing. The team's terrible, though. Yeah. These are the bad Expos for the reason why they had to move.
Right.
Because they're so lousy.
Nobody showed up because it was shit.
At one point, they didn't have media contracts in Montreal. Their games were not on television or on English language radio.
Yeah.
If you lived in Montreal and you liked the Expos, you couldn't listen to a game. The only broadcast of it was a French language broadcast.
Oh, that's depressing.
Unless you spoke French,
I don't want to hear French people call a baseball game.
No, unless you spoke French, you couldn't fucking know anything of what happened in the Expo game. It's the weirdest thing.
That's so weird.
So the team goes 67-95 that year, which is terrible.
And you liked their uniforms, but
I like their 80s uniforms, not their 90s, 2000s. They were ugly as fuck.
This uniform
These are bad.
is maybe the worst uniform in all of baseball
they look like
ever.
Shit.
They look like a big square.
Yeah, I like the 80s. I like any of the 80s unis where the road jerseys were like that blue.
Yeah,
I like
baby
that.
blue.
The baby blue. Those are cool. And their home jerseys looked really clean. They were just white with the Expos with that logo and mixed in. It looked really fucking cool.
The old Phillies logo is maybe the coolest one with
That's
that baby
dope
blue.
That thing's
badass.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Almost like a brownish.
Yeah,
pea.
their road.
So rad.
Yeah, that maroon, blood red, like dried
fucking
blood.
Incredible.
It's fucking dope. Yeah, the Phillies have a good. They have a good hat.
Yeah,
not the bright red like they have now, but like the Mike Schmidt era.
Yes,
fucking
that's the one.
Dried blood red Philly hat with that logo. That is
it's almost just like
hat.
mud, the clay.
I'm going to order one of those. That's a good fucking hat.
You should.
It's a really good hat.
Yeah.
So that year, as the manager there, Felipe Alou, as we know, the sea of Alous.
Good Christ.
Boise's is the most
really
prominent reason.
Yeah.
2001 season for Montreal. He plays in 67 games, 223 with 1 home run and 19 RBI. So kind of has that's over the first half of the season.
Okay.
Same line as the year before, pretty much. That's the first half. He's on pace to hit 2 home runs and 30, whatever he had before. So finally, July 31st, 2001, the day of the trade deadline, or day before the trade deadline, he's traded from the Expos to the Cleveland Indians for Zach Day, the pitcher.
Okay.
He was a decent pitcher for a while. In Cleveland there, they brought him in. He ends up spending about 10 games in the minors that year and doesn't really do much in the regular season. He makes $207,000 $200,000 though that year.
That's a deal.
Not bad.
In Cleveland, you can really make that stretch.
Oh, you can stretch that. Yes, definitely. Well, that's because it's part minor, part major too.
Okay.
So he would have made more if he was up in the majors. You get prorated if you get sent down to the minors.
I'm in.
If you have a minor league contract, which he does. That's what I found out, the difference between a minor league contract and a major league contract. Major league contract, they have to pay you your major league salary no matter what. They send you down, they cut you, it doesn't matter. Minor league contract, A, you're not guaranteed a spot on the roster, and B, they'll
just prorate you.
They'll prorate you your pay, so it's rough. So 2002 season with Cleveland, he has a little bit of an issue in April, very beginning of the season. Not the way you want to start out. You came over last year in a trade. You're a young guy. You want to make a good impression. Get out there and really show them that you're a team guy. Doesn't work out, or you have a emergency medical personnel have to be called to take you to the hospital because you're so drunk that you refuse to leave a Cleveland restaurant. And he's called by the medical report, quote, severely intoxicated. So much so that he didn't realize he had to go somewhere.
And he needs an ambulance to come take him wherever he's going.
Sir, you have to leave. He's like, I live here. This is my house. They're like, no, sir.
You didn't hear? I have $200,000.
You're in the ladies' room, sir. That's not your house. Ladies pee all over my house. Don't worry about it.
I have $200,000 right here in this little trash can
tampon
next
machine
to the toilet.
So, on the field, though, he plays in 98 games for Cleveland. That doesn't let him stop him there. He's a platoon guy, in and out. He hits 249, 9 home runs, 38 RBI, 6 stolen bases.
Gotcha.
Okay, looks like a major league platoon guy. That's decent numbers. The team goes 74 and 88. They're awful. They stink. That's not an issue. That's still like the tail end. That's the tail end of like the Jim Tomei, that Indians
Albert
team. He was gone by then.
Was he gone already?
I think so. By then. So he makes $221,000 that year. So good for him. Now, 2003 is when shit gets interesting. Okay. Now, a lot of things, it's mixed in with a million other things, but there's a couple of good little chunks in here that are from an amazing article that they really made my job easier, not only because they found a bunch of shit, but then I knew where to look for shit because they put their sources there.
Gotcha.
So it was great. So I was like, oh, cool, I can go look this case up and do shit like that. It's a Sports Illustrated article from 2015, by Michael McKnight and L. John Wertheim. And he is the author of that scorecasting book that I praise all the time on this show. He's a just very, very good writer.
Nowadays, it seems like writing has...
He's smart.
In sports, and mind you,
it's either,
for other shit, they could give a fuck about being credible.
Either it's like you have a 12 IQ or it's somebody really smart.
Really
like
trying.
There's nobody in between. It's either Colin Cowherd, who is, that's annoying because he's actually a smart guy who pretends to be stupid.
Dumb,
which fucking makes me angry. Or you're just Skip Bayless, who's a moron. Either one. So
but they
cite
themselves. They cite their sources. Is my point.
Yeah.
That they realize, and Sports Illustrated and ESPN seem to do it best.
Well, scorecasting is just an amazingly researched book where you're just like, fuck, this guy's a monster, this writer that put this together. And even like this article, you read it and you're like, Jesus, it's like this guy knows how to put something together.
It's awesome.
They know what they're doing, these guys. Well, anyway, this spring of 2003, Milton Bradley's playing for the Indians. In spring training, he ends up meeting a lady. He meets Monique Williams.
Yes, he does.
This will be his future wife.
Wow.
His future wife here. She is a community relations intern with the team.
Okay.
She's 22 years old.
Oh, boy.
He's about to turn 25.
Yeah.
So, hey, he's a young guy, major leaguer.
Got an intern.
Cute intern, 22 years old, works for the team. You can see what's going to happen here.
Bill Clinton.
Young, not even Bill. They're just two young people. He's not the fucking president. He's like a platoon right fielder. He's like, this is right in my wheelhouse. Community relations intern, perfect. He's not the GM.
Right.
Fuck, so
I'm going to need her.
This is great. Believe me, one thing I'm going to need, it's community relations later. So later on, I'm going to put some quotes in now every once in a while. These quotes are from court documents later on. So I'll tell you when we go to court document interviews and things, we'll flash back to this and explain in their own words kind of a thing how these things happen. So Milton Bradley about this, about meeting her, he says in court, quote, I was out in center field shagging fly balls. I saw a female walking down to the field, and I asked one of my teammates, who's that? He said, I don't know. I said, well, I'm about to find out, and I ran in, is what he said. So this guy stopped his pregame preparation of shagging fly balls to try to go talk to a chick. Yeah. Which, again, probably not the best impression to make, but I get it. That's fine. You can only shag fly balls so much.
You can't impress your coaches that way, but you can impress a quote-unquote female that way.
Female.
Run up there in your uniform. I hate a dude that calls a girl a female.
Whenever a guy calls a girl a female, I'll get one of these females. Or anytime, if it's always a bad sign. It's always like a really misogynistic black dude or like a mustache, no sideburn prison guard white guy. You know what I mean? One or the other. You're either got to be super black or super white, and you call ladies females, and it's weird as fuck to me. Or
just a general piece of shit.
Or just a general piece of shit. That's fine, too. So he talks about I ran in, and his attorney, Harlan Braun, who we'll hear a ton about. His attorney, good God, this poor fucking bastard.
He hangs on to him forever?
Well, yeah, this guy probably has like 3 summer homes and takes European vacations and sends his kid to guitar lessons from like Eric Clapton and shit because of this fucking guy, I would say. This guy has so many legal problems. The attorney at this point, when he says, after Bradley says, I ran in, the attorney says, let me jump ahead. Did you ever hit Monique? So you can tell where this is going right away.
Holy shit.
He says, never. Braun says, you've yelled at her, correct? Bradley says, quote, I've yelled at a lot of people, which is a pretty fantastic fucking response. Then Braun says, later on, Braun, the attorney's talking to Monique Bradley, his future wife, later on the stand. And he says, Mrs. Bradley, when you met Milton, he was already in the big leagues. And Monique says, yes. The attorney says, he had a temper, correct? And she says, I had heard about it, but I hadn't seen it at that point. And then this is from the court document. The Los Angeles deputy city attorney makes sure to tell the court that Monique's not a baseball groupie. Milton wasn't a big famous player that anybody knew who the fuck he was. Mm-hmm. He was a guy who was trying to not be sent down to the minors, and she worked for the team, so they were both just kind of worked for the same company, and they ended up dating for 2 years before they got married. So
that's nice.
So they don't get married until 2 years later.
That's a good decision.
So the attorney's trying to say, hey, don't try to act like she was like in the stands trying to flag down a famous baseball player and then marry him the next week. They work together and it's fine. Now, Milton, let's give a thing here. Milton says about his mom and just about himself and how his character. We have to let Milton tell you who he is before we begin this crazy journey, Jimmy, okay?
This sounds scary.
This is the beginning part here is about his mother. He says, quote, well, she's been a part of things since day one. She kept me in school every single day, perfect attendance my whole life, in church every Sunday, and she guided me through the trials and tribulations of this crazy career I've chosen. God is able, she always says, and my faith in God never allowed me to waver from his perfect plan, capital H is, by the way. I haven't necessarily taken the most direct route, but I made it.
Okay.
So with Jesus as the wind at his back, he is going to make it. And so just so we all know, everything he does is for God and for Jesus and for the church, man. That's all it is to it. So let's find out some shit that he does in the name of Jesus.
Let's see what he does to besmirch the good
Lord. To take the Lord's name in vain. So, Jesus Christ. 2003 season, he has a bunch of problems. On the field, he's having all sorts of like fiery incidents on the field. Outbursts.
Yeah.
He has some of the most epic, probably the most epic player ejections I've ever seen in baseball.
How come I don't know this?
I don't know how you don't know this, because he's like a Lou Piniella,
really,
like a Billy Martin, like a legendary, or an Earl Weaver.
What am I missing?
He's like a legendary gets thrown out guy. And the fucked up part is, I watch all of his things, and he's a total dick about it. It's hilarious, but I mean, he's being a dick, and he's not trying to be entertaining. He's angry and he's serious. But the problem is, most of the time, he's right in what he's arguing. He is safe when he's arguing he's safe. And it was a fucking ball when he said it was a ball. So that's what makes me, when I look at it, I'm like, God damn it, how do you not freak out? You were safe. Like, they show the slow-mo. He's fucking safe. Yeah. They called him out. He's like, what the fuck? Yeah. And he loses his mind. He got called out on a 3-2 pitch. He got called out later on when he goes to a team. He got thrown out of the game in his first home at bat with the team because he was up with the bases loaded, 3-2 count, and it was a ball that was clearly inside, and they called it strike 3, and he freaked the fuck out.
First pitch, or first
at bat.
Oh, boy.
Got thrown out. He freaked the fuck out, and then they showed the pitch track, and it was fucking inside. It was a shit pitch. It was a ball 4, sorry. But umps don't like to call ball 4s and walk-in guys. They'd rather call strikeout. So it's one of those things. But he's right a lot of the time, which he's smart. That's what I mean. You could use it for good and not dickheadery.
Well, the problem with, like in baseball, though, when it's a 3-2, they'd rather call the strike and move along because you've been up here, kid. You've had your chances.
Especially with the bases loaded. It's that scorecasting book, speaking of L. John Wertheim, there's a whole thing in that of how percentages of where the ball is and how where it's called a strike and ball change depending on the count.
Okay.
It's fucking crazy.
That makes sense.
It's so weird. Like,
in the 3-2, you're getting that pitcher's getting so much leeway on that pitch.
If there's 3 balls and no strikes and you call a ball and you throw a ball perfectly down the middle, lands in the middle of the pitch track, perfect in the middle of the strike, that's called a strike like 99.6% of the time. But if it's 0-2, 0 balls, 2 strikes, and you throw that pitch, it's only called a strike 65% of the time.
How about
exact same pitch.
Interesting.
But it's all about people's mental things that you don't even know you're doing, but you're skewing it. It's fucking weird, man. It's a great book.
I want to read that part. That's
tremendous. I have the audiobook. I'll let you have it.
That would be great.
It's true. Yeah,
that's so much easier.
I was going to say,
I'm not really good with the reading.
I'm not going to give you paper books, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, this year, 2003, he has on-field run-ins with the Dodgers catcher Paul LaDuca.
Yes.
He has
that guy's a bitch.
Yeah, I kind of liked him because he's a guinea. There's just not a lot of guineas. And his dad owned a pizza place in Sedona also. He was a nice guy.
Sense.
My mom went there and there's all pictures of Paul LaDuca everywhere. He's like, my son plays in the majors. So anyway.
I sat next to his fucking friend at a baseball game and listened to that fucking dick going, pulley! And hollering to him.
There's not a lot of us in the league.
Dude, I'll punch you in the dick. Stop shouting at the man.
Also with Jason Giambi, he had an issue with, I think I'll pick a giant guy.
This is enough.
Roided like a brick house.
Are you picking every Italian?
Yeah, that's it. I'm only going at, he's very prejudiced against Italians. Can you believe this in this day and age? Prejudiced against Italians. A Jew broad. Prejudiced against Italians. Sorry, it was a Goodfellas reference. So anyway, this time he throws his helmet and his bat in the direction of the home plate umpire after he is thrown out of a game. Can't do that in 2003. That's another suspension. August of 2003, he's in Ohio, where he plays for Cleveland. He gets pulled over by the police here. It's a little before 3 a.m.
Not a good time to be out. Not a good time.
He's in his 2002 black Lexus. He was allegedly going 52 and a 25.
I believe it.
So that's a little fast. 25's so slow.
It is.
And it's 3 a.m. and there's no traffic. I get where you're going.
I'm going
but
home. Right.
You got to be careful at that point.
Double the speed limit's a bit scary.
That's a bit much.
Go 10 over, dude.
Yeah, that's fine. Even 15 at that point. And go, dude, it's 3 a.m. No one's out. What is there, kids running around? Seriously,
it's me and you, bro.
It's me and you, and I think rats running by. It is Cleveland, so. Yeah. So anyway, he gets pulled over. He hands the officer, like a gentleman, hands him his driver's license with his Indian's ID, which is a slick move. Like, hey, Anna Milton Bradley, which they said for some reason is fairly routine. If the players get pulled over, they'll do that.
Of course.
Well, yeah, once in a while, it'll probably get you out of something.
Your get out of jail free card is like, the first one you
pull. Here's my second form of ID, just so you know for sure, even though driver's license will do. When the cop comes back to have him sign the ticket, he's walking back to the car. Bradley just pulls away and leaves instead. Doesn't sign the ticket, just takes off. And so the patrolman here, this guy, Edwin Dennis, a patrolman, he followed Bradley for about 5 minutes before he just gave up. He said, fuck it, we're not going to have a high-speed chase over signing a fucking... Oh, he killed a guy. He's not a bank robber.
I know who he is.
I got his address. I have his license in my fucking hand. So they wouldn't call... The police didn't call it a chase. They just said he followed him to observe an observational chase or whatever the fuck they called it. But he said he took off. The police said he started, he put the lights and siren on, and Milton just kept driving like fucking OJ. Nope, not pulling over.
Or maybe he just thought, oh, there's my ticket. He's just coming back up to tell me you may go on your way, Mr. Bradley,
later.
Because I have both your forms of ID.
And your ticket that you need to have. That's the whole point of me pulling you over, was to give you this.
Right.
So the sergeant at the time then told the police officer to stop chasing him because he's like, there's no point in doing it. We know who it is and where he lives. It's not like he took off. And the cop said he was just about to stop chasing him anyway because there's no point. He says the police officer said, quote, I did attempt to stop the vehicle again, and Mr. Bradley refused to stop for my lights, an audible siren. So the sergeant said, quote, what are you going to do? We know who it is and where he lives, so there's no sense in getting into a pursuit. He never went over 40 miles an hour. It's not like he was fleeing us. He was going 40 miles an hour and refusing to pull over.
Not really a high-speed chase.
He's not really fleeing us. He's just kind of being, I don't know, a dick. Right. That's all. He's just kind of being a dick. That's what he does this whole time. The chief said, quote, this was not a high-speed pursuit. He wasn't charged with felony fleeing, just failure to comply with the order or signal of a police officer. Bradley said he then called the police station, the chief said, and said he wanted to come in and pick up the ticket, and he did so and signed a signature bond for the other charge that he had there. The sergeant who waited on him said that he was very cordial when he came in.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Just drive away.
That'd be so fucking great. And you or me, this shit doesn't happen, son. Even if he has my name and everything, shit doesn't happen.
No.
They're just turning off. They're going to keep
no.
Why is he running?
No, they're going to chase us and search us and find what's in our asshole and beat the living and tase us and everything else. And it's Arizona. We might get shot. It's possible. So.
But my point is, like, it would be amazing.
Yeah, you can't just drive away.
Pick up your shit and then them go, why are you running? Oh, I don't know. Where do I sign for this other shit?
Okay.
All right, I'll see you guys.
And then they go, well, he was cordial when he came in to sign for it. He should be fucking cordial. The police officer that pulled him over said he wasn't very cordial. He said he never suspected drugs or alcohol, but that he definitely said Bradley was not cooperative and that, quote, a few choice words were uttered.
Is that right?
He's talking some shit at that point, yeah. So, but at least he wasn't, at least they didn't say we thought he was shit-faced, which was... a big deal. Now, Indians general manager Mark Shapiro, silver-haired middle-aged white man. What do you think he's going to have to say about this?
He's a great dude.
Right away, we're gonna nip this in the bud. Right. We're gonna put him in something. We're gonna talk to him. Right. No, he says, "quote At this point, we don't feel the severity requires organizational action. We're comfortable with letting the legal process take its course."
He ran from the cops. Man.
Not our problem.
Right.
He's freaking out on the field. He's doing this. We're not going to talk to him. We're just not going to. So yeah, they said this is fucking funny too. The police department there, the Cuyahoga Falls Police Department, has 12 cruisers with dash cams and 5 that don't have dash cams.
And which one was he?
Of course,
over?
This was one of the 5 that does not have a dash cam. So basically, it's his word against the cops at that point. He's charged with, like we said, failure to comply with a police officer. It's a misdemeanor with a maximum fine of $1,000 and a 6-month jail sentence. He might also be charged with a misdemeanor speeding violation for driving 40 in a 25 when he was driving away. When he was running away. So but I don't know if they'll do that because then at that point it is a chase if he went over the speed limit. So, yeah, anyway.
What do you want to bet Cuyahoga Falls, all their police cruisers have fucking dash cams
Can we get the other 5 fucking cameras? What are we waiting for?
We're all taking $5 pay cuts.
There's baseball players running from us. We can't have this shit.
We got until Milton Bradley leaves this town, everybody has a fucking camera.
Now, the Indian spokesperson, after all this is going on, he gets a continuance in court. Milton does, not the Indian spokesperson. Right. Indian spokesperson Bob DiBiaso, not DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, Bob DiBiaso. He said, quote, let's not start connecting the dots with this young man. He's an emotional guy. That's what drives him. We're behind Milton all the way. Hair... When he showed up there, he had just jet black. When he left the podium, he looked like Steve Martin. I don't know what the fuck happened. Silver. Holy shit. It's what drives him. He's an emotional guy. They keep saying this until a certain point we get to later where it's a tipping point and they're like, it's not good that he's an emotional guy.
We can't co-sign on this anymore.
On the field, though, plays in 101 games, has some injury problems, 377 at bats, hits 321, though, with 10 homers, 56 RBI, and 17 steals.
My goodness.
Good field year. Good year on the field. That's a better way of saying it. Team goes 68-94. He makes $314,300. Not bad.
It seems so low, though.
It seems low, yeah. But it's.
But he's made $700 over his career so far.
Yeah, well, he's still on his rookie deal. He hasn't got to where he's a free agent yet.
Gotcha.
That's when you make money in baseball. Unless you're like a top 10 draft pick, you're not making a fortune until then. You got to play for 5 years. So 2004, in February, he's sentenced to 3 days in jail for driving away from the police there. But he appeals it and gets some kind of delay, and it's held over till December of this year. And we'll talk about that when it comes up. But he doesn't have to do the 3 days yet. Yeah, doesn't have to do the 3 days yet. Now, at home, on the other hand, we'll talk about Charlene Erector, the mother here. She talks about the relationship between Monique and Milton.
Yes.
This is, again, one of our court document flashbacks.
Mom's got some shit.
Mom says, quote, the troubled relationship between Milton and Monique has been off and on since they started living together before marriage, which is right around this time. Milton has never been the aggressor in any argument I have witnessed. Instead, Monique gets drunk and provokes the arguments. Okay, this is what they're going to keep saying over and over in these court documents.
Monique likes to drink.
That she likes to drink, even though outside of Monique, outside of the mother and Milton, no one's ever seen her drunk.
Never.
Like her babysitters, everybody's like, I've never seen her drunk. She doesn't drink really.
Well, that's fascinating.
Like that. And he's like, she gets up, drinks wine from the minute she got her eyes open. And they're like, I don't know. I don't smell it on her ever, see it on her. Spring training of this year, Milton is pulled from an exhibition game, yanked out of there after manager Eric Wedge says that he failed to run out a pop fly that dropped.
Okay.
Basically, he hit a pop fly, jogged up the baseline, then the guy dropped it, and he was halfway up the baseline still rather than rounding first and, hustling
Should
it out.
have been almost to second by now.
Some little league shit right there. He ends up also being barred from training camp the next day. They told him to fucking stay home. That's another little league punishment.
Yeah.
Don't play next
we
time.
don't even want you playing when it doesn't matter.
Nah, that's funny. Not only that, this is like the very end of March. April 3rd, like a week later, 2004, he's traded by the Indians. They're like, get this guy the fuck out of here. We're done. He's driving away from people. Yeah. He's fucking off on the field. He's traded to the Dodgers for a player to be named later, and also Franklin Gutierrez. The Dodgers ended up sending Andrew Brown to complete the trade later on. But yeah, that's the trade here. So he ends up with the Dodgers, which is his hometown team. Which
should be great.
That's good because, as we all know from Crime and Sports, best thing for an athlete that's having some troubles is to go home, as we all know. Move home. God forbid, get married, get teenagers in your hit squad, find God, the whole fucking deal.
Get yourself a Bible, Milton.
Oh, please, Jesus, Milton. Luckily, he already found God, so he's already got that rule broken. So June of 2004, he's suspended for 4 games by the team and fined $2,500, or by the league, not the team, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen, probably on a baseball field. This is has a bit of an exchange, we'll call it, with Terry Kraft, who is an umpire. He's ejected from the game, and so then he takes things into his own hands and does one of the more hilarious ejection things I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. You have your Lou Pinellas that take a base and throw it, and Billy Martin kicks dirt, and Earl Weaver would turn his hat around and get right in an ump's fucking face.
After you told me about Earl Weaver's outburst, I watched his ejections. Fucking amazing.
They're amazing, yeah.
He walks away, comes right the fuck
yeah. He's like, oh no, I thought of something else.
I got more to say to you. He did it like 15 times.
He'll keep doing it. He'll delay the game for 25 minutes. And every time he does it, if it's a home game, the crowd fucking roars.
They lose their mind.
Every time you hear him, and then he'll turn around. Hey,
and another thing, motherfucker.
Yeah. And the more he gets into it, the crowd starts cheering again. He's like a pro wrestler. He can just whip him into a frenzy every time. It's great. It's so fucking great.
Is he dead? He's got to be dead, right?
I believe Earl Weaver's probably heart exploded from an anger fit.
I wish I'd have known that man. I want to meet.
He is fantastic.
This was just, a couple months ago that I found out about Earl Weaver's.
Yeah.
But I wanted to.
He's the best.
Watching him, I'm just like, I want that guy to be my. I wish he would have yelled. I want to be yelled at by that man.
You want him to be your uncle that comes on like Thanksgiving.
I want him to be.
Uncle Earl's fucking awesome. Watch this shit.
I want him emotionally
emotionally invested in me.
Oh, yeah.
So much so that anytime I fuck up, I've got to hear that. And then he starts to walk away. Don't you go anywhere, motherfucker.
You just want to go. You just go, oh, Uncle Earl's coming? Fuck yeah, dude. He's going to yell at my cousin. It's going to be awesome. He's going to call him a lazy fuck. He's going to call him a hippie. This is fucking great.
Yeah.
He's going to yell at him because he went out with that black girl. Right. This is going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait. That's the best. So
Uncle Earl doesn't even know that Eddie's girlfriend's name's Chantel. I can't wait to tell him.
Can't wait. So you have these good freakouts. Yeah. Then you have like Lloyd McClendon, who took a base and just took it with him, ripped it out of the ground, said, I'll take this with you.
All of you.
Then you had that Braves minor league manager who completely lost his shit. Lost it, freaked out, then got behind the fucking pitcher's mound, crawled up it like it was a combat fucking mission, grabbed the rosin bag, and hurled it like a grenade toward the plate. Okay?
He fake pulled the pin and everything.
With his teeth and everything. There's that guy, then there's this, which is better. Okay?
Right.
Milton at the plate, angrily stares the umpire down, takes his helmet, his bat, puts them down on the ground, takes off his batting gloves one at a time, places them down on the ground also, and walks away like, I'm leaving these here, so fuck you. I'm not cleaning them up.
Right.
Walks away. You think Milton's gone. He's talking shit. Goes into the dugout for half a second. Everybody turns back to the field. Nope, he's not done yet. He comes out with a giant thing of baseballs. They have these giant, they're probably 4 times the size of a bucket, and they're kind of like rubber baskets.
I think it's like a 50-gallon drum cut in half.
Kind of, but they're made of like rubber.
Yeah.
And it's full of baseballs. He runs up the dugout steps onto the field and starts throwing the thing up so like 10 baseballs at a time are flying out into the field. Then he starts picking them up off the ground and hurling them into the outfield. From the third baseline all the way out to right field, just as far as they'll go, whipping them all around, throwing them, taking the fucking bag, spinning around so the rest of them fly out.
That's brilliant.
It was fucking amazing to watch.
The cleanup of that is ridiculous.
Oh, they took for a while. They had to go, there's another one out there. Someone shagged this fucking... Do we have all of them? How many were there? Like, he lost his fucking... I never thought of anyone... think to do that. Like, I'm going to go get this and bring it out there.
He probably looked around and saw like the people on the sides are very elderly, and they're not going to clean all that shit up.
No. It's going to be those guys.
And if they do make them go do it, it's going to take a while.
It's going to be ball boys and some 16-year-old kid having to do it. Well, the funny fucking thing is, at the end of it, he's like, he's yelling and screaming, and over this, the announcer is Vin Scully, the amazing, for best. 60 years, the best, and his voice is wonderful, and it's soothing, and he'll tell you everything that's going on. And while this craziness is going on, Bradley taking balls out of the dugout
he
there.
He had to call it.
It was great, and when it's finally done, you just see Milton say his final couple things and turn around and walk away. Vin Scully just goes, Milton Bradley has thrown baseballs like rice at a wedding. And that's the end of it. I'm like, that's the... Talk about summing it up. He's thrown baseballs like rice at a wedding. That's amazing. Holy shit. So he's suspended for 4 games for that, obviously. Now, Paul DePodesta, the general manager, said... he doesn't give a fuck. He's defending him still. They're still defending his actions.
Still standing behind him.
He says, quote, when we traded for Milton, we knew everything that came along with it. I would take 9 Milton Bradleys if I could get them.
Really?
Keep that in mind.
You would have 9 of that guy?
9 of this. There'd be no one left to play is the problem.
That's my version of that's my kind of guy.
That's exactly what it is. He's later suspended the final 5 games of the season when he slammed a plastic water bottle at the feet of a fan in the box seats in the right-hand corner. He threw a plastic water bottle.
Just drilled him.
Threw it down like by the guy's feet out there in the right corner of Dodger Stadium. Somebody had thrown it on the field. Not this guy who almost got hit with it, but he went over and slammed it like back in the stands at this guy's feet. Like, what the fuck? You can't do that. Just hand it to the umpire. So instead, he does that, and he suspended the final 5 games. But he plays in 141 games that year.
That's a lot.
Has 516 at bats, so his first real, 500 at bat plus season. Hits 267, 19 homers, 67 RBI. 15 steals.
Good game.
Caught stealing 11 times, too, but still 15. He's a threat still. You just have to think about him. You might be able to throw him out, but you're still got to think. He makes $1,730,000 that year. Now you're talking. Tell you what, let's do it now. Grace. This is grace. I let him go a little extra.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I could have called it.
$2 million.
But the way it's so weighted on what's coming up, we're about to just slide down a hill of shit right now.
I love it.
I had to let it go right up until that. That's grace.
Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now. So get in there, listen to Small Town Murder. Follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
It's had a graceful time so far. November 2004, another interesting incident on the road here. This is his last road incident. Everything goes indoors after this. But on the road, November 2004, he ends up being charged with a misdemeanor count of disorderly conduct after, quote, interfering with a traffic stop on an Ohio highway. Okay?
Somebody else's business?
Not him driving. Okay? Now...
so he's in the car that gets pulled over.
Yes.
And he's got words for the cop.
He's not in the car. This
what
is
the fuck?
This is ridiculous, okay?
Keep driving, Milton.
He says that a female friend of his was riding as a passenger in the car behind him. So it's not him, it's a female friend of his who is not even driving the car behind him. It was a passenger in the car behind him, and this car had been pulled over by the police. This was Copley Township Police. The police dispute right away even that. The police say that there was one female in the car by herself. They're saying that this woman was driving the car by herself. She wasn't a passenger in the car with someone else driving. But one thing that everyone agrees on is that this woman had been drinking.
Okay.
Bradley just tried to discount the fact that she was also driving.
Okay.
So she'd been drinking. Bradley says that she is a Columbia law school student, and a friend of his, and he didn't want her to get into trouble and jeopardize her future, so he got out of the car to help.
Okay.
This sounds like
what year
I'm
is this,
trying
2004?
Yeah. This
I
sounds
know what
like
this is.
I'm trying to fuck a girl, and I'm going to get out, and I'm going to be like, I'm on the Indians. What do you say you let this girl go?
Right.
And the next thing you know, I'm knee deep in this shit. But he says this poor young girl, I'm trying to guide her on her path to a stable career in the law field.
They left somewhere where they were drinking, and she said, I'm too drunk to drive. He said,
follow
hug
me.
my bumper real tight.
Follow me.
Right.
Yep, exactly, which it should have been the other way around to keep the cop.
He should have said, I'll drive.
Yeah, I'll drive. Unless they were doing like a mob trail car thing where then he was going to go bash into something to get the cops' attention, and then she would drive off because she had all the cocaine. I'm not sure how that works, or the body in her trunk and whatever the case. He says, quote, I came out with my arms outstretched to show the cops they didn't need to pull their weapons or anything like that. You get out with your arms out. That tells me I should pull my weapon because your arms are
You're
looking.
going, what's up, motherfucker?
Not up, out.
Right.
That's if you said I got out with my arms up.
Right.
Different story. I got out with my arms outstretched outward. He said, and I yelled because I was 30 yards away. It was raining and there were cars whizzing by. He said, quote, the cop told me to get back in the car and I didn't get in the car. I should have gotten back in the car. I know that, he says. But I didn't lose my cool. It was a very calculated scheme on my part. I had a friend and she needed help. You help out a friend regardless of consequences. Not with the police, actually. That's not how that works.
Oh, my God.
The police officer said Bradley used obscenity and, quote, was somewhat challenging as he got closer.
Sure.
I don't know exactly what that means, if that's just cop lingo for he looked even blacker the closer he got, or what it was, or the fact that his arms are outstretched and he's yelling and cursing on the side of a highway going, why the fuck you pulling this lady over? She didn't do nothing, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, Bradley says, quote, I didn't break any law, and but he did tell the officer to go ahead and arrest him. He said, go ahead and arrest me. I didn't break any law. He said, well, why wouldn't I say that later on? He said, Jesus Christ, man. He said, quote, I told him to arrest me. He said, and you might think that's the dumbest thing, but it let my friend get out of trouble, and it did. So the cop ended up arresting Milton Bradley and letting her go, and letting a drunk woman drive off. Jesus Christ, man.
I don't know about the judgment on that cop. That's you arrest both of them, sir.
Yeah,
that's funds for your state for her DUI, first of all.
That's the other thing. Yeah, it's so fucking stupid, man. Now, he says about the whole thing, we'll do it in their own words on this, because I think this is him defending himself, and he should really have it in their own words. He says, in their own words, quote, there really shouldn't have been any headlines because it was so ridiculously minor. I was speaking up as Milton Bradley, a friend, not Milton Bradley, the baseball player. My friends will be there long after baseball, and that is what's important to me. Morally, I don't believe I did wrong. Legally, I did the wrong thing.
Also,
no, just dumb.
What's your wife have to say about this?
That's the other thing.
Who the fuck is she? I'm sure she asked that question.
He acted like this is his friend that pulled him out of like it was like his dad's friend that pulled him out of a fucking rice paddy in Vietnam with a gunshot wound.
Right.
This is some law school chickie, man. Who even knows if she's in law school?
Right.
She might fucking work at Hooters, and he's like, she's a Columbia Law School student, and I don't want her to screw her life up. She's got breast implants coming in the morning, and I don't want her to screw up her appointment.
He's got such a heart for these troubled youth.
Oh, man. Jesus Christ. He ends up paying a small fine for this whole thing.
Okay.
For that. So no big deal there. Now, he said he did an interview in 2004 around this time when this is all going on. People are starting to go, who is this crazy asshole?
Yeah.
So he gets some interviews. He said in an interview, now this is funny, the guy who did the interview said, quote, about the interview, quote, I got the Milton Bradley who said, I don't have an anger management problem, and the Milton Bradley who told me 10 minutes later that he not only had an anger management problem and spoke regularly to a counselor, but that it was something he'd have to work on, quote, for months and years. So that's what he does. I don't have an anger management problem. I'm in anger management every damn week because I fucking can't control my temper. Okay?
And it's going to take me months and years.
But if he would have said you do have an anger management problem, he would have argued with him for 20 minutes and then told him about his counseling and anger management. It's fucking nuts here. He said, quote, I got the Milton Bradley who always had as an excuse for losing control of his emotions, and the Milton Bradley who becomes upset when told the obvious, like, quote, you cannot put yourself in the position ever again where you're singled out for causing a problem. His response to that, Milton Bradley, quote, this is what irritates the hell out of me. You explaining to me that I can't do that. I know that. I don't need you to tell me that. You're the last person I really care about. I listen to my mother or someone close to me, not an average journalist in the paper. That's a pretty fucking funny quote.
That's a burner.
An average journalist in the paper. Not even like, you're not even a national journal. You're just some schmo who's like got a sports byline, you dickhead. So,
I didn't call you a terrible one, so just enjoy that.
That's and he said, too, this is fucked up. He said, he tells him, the reporter's like, he tells me this. He goes, I'm the only one he'll talk to. He goes, he likes me. Like, afterwards, he's like, we get along. This is getting along with him. He said no one else, he wouldn't talk to anybody else. He's like, I'm the only one he gave this interview to.
Called me mediocre.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
He called me milquetoast, and I have to swallow it because nobody else gets a Milton Bradley story.
That's right. And who knows what he's going to do anyway. He's rageful because I said hello. So he then said, the reporter said that he told Milton that he thought he was a, quote, dunderhead, for interfering with the police in Ohio, to which Milton agreed. He said, I do too.
Yeah.
He thinks he is also.
He told Milton that Milton's a dunderhead?
Yeah, for the Ohio thing. He's like, you were being a real dunderhead on that one. And Milton was like, must have been in a good groove of the conversation. And Milton goes, I do too. That was stupid as fuck.
Right after he Googled dunderhead.
Yeah, he was like, I think that's bad. It's something head, so that's never good. Dickhead, shithead.
Is dunder a word for dick?
Probably dick or poop or something. I don't know. So I made him a redneck now for some reason. A black guy from California.
Right.
And he's like, I don't know.
Hillbilly
some kind of poop. I don't know. I spent time down in the Gulf Coast League, and now I talk like this, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why, if I'm being honest with you. So, he said that the reporter said a few minutes earlier he described himself as that he was defending this woman's honor and blah, 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 the same bullshit he said earlier. Then, wow, Bradley described himself as, quote, the perfect imperfection. He's the perfect imperfection.
What? The fuck are you doing, Milton?
Yep, he said that everyone has him all wrong. He's just the perfect imperfection.
I'm perfect.
His fieriness is what makes him perfect. That's what he says. He says, quote, who is my anger hurting? Don't put me in the Ron Artest category or the Mike Tyson category. I was playing poker the other night with Marty McSorley, who is a crazy enforcer hockey player who Bob Probert fought 20 times.
So many times.
And I don't hit people over the head with a stick. Those are serious problems, biting people and running into the stands. I consider the things that I do are wrong, but not on that level. Artest was out of control. I showed restraint in throwing the bottle to the ground in the stands. Never in my life have I gotten into a physical altercation with anyone.
Okay.
Never in my life have I harmed someone. My anger is completely a different type. It's not directed towards someone, he says. So he's saying it's just this internal tornado of rage that he has inside of him.
Take it easy with the Mike Tyson references,
That's
Milton.
the other thing,
First things first, Mike Tyson's fighting and beating people up. That's his fucking job. First of all.
He also has brain damage.
Right.
You're delisting people with brain, and whatever. So, and Artest thought someone was attacking, whatever. I'm not going to make, anyway.
I'm not going to defend Artest, but I'll defend Tyson to the hilt.
Yeah.
That guy's awesome.
So he then says, quote, that's the way it is. That's how I live my life. I've risen above and beyond expectations coming from where I come from and what I've gone through. I'm not supposed to be where I am, but I'm here, damn it. Which, all true.
True.
Now don't fuck it up.
Right.
That's the problem.
You are here.
December 2004, Bradley ends up serving the 3 days in jail from that other incident. It actually finally comes down. He pleads guilty to obstructing official business. And that's about it. And the other one, he ended the other deal, the disorderly conduct for yelling at the police officer. It was a $175 fine.
Okay.
Obstructing official business was driving away from the speeding ticket. Mm-hmm. February of 2005. To be exact, there's a fluff piece on Milton.
Okay.
Fluff him up. Why the fuck not? It says, quote, the off-season was filled with potentially life-changing experiences for Milton Bradley. He began counseling sessions to deal with anger management and other issues, and in a more positive vein, he got married in Las Vegas on February 5th. So, in a more positive vein, he's getting married, which is always what we tell.
Right.
Always get married. Crime and sports rule number one. When things are going bad, make sure to run to the altar, especially in Vegas, because that shows a pre-planning and a forethought.
I'm impressed that the wife went forward with it.
After the Columbia Law School incident.
How about you tell me who the fuck she is first?
He must be a good liar, too.
He's got to be.
And he's also a little bit aggressive, as we'll get to right now.
Yeah.
2 days after the wedding, Monique signed a prenuptial agreement.
Oh, okay.
After the wedding, which is an odd time.
Post-nuptial.
This is that's what I mean.
Okay.
This is weird. Monique later on says, quote, he made me sign it. Mr. Bradley is very intimidating. He just said, you didn't think you were going to leave here without signing this, did you? Which is kind of scary. You know what I mean?
So you get married, you have a couple of great days in Vegas, then you wake up and he goes,
listen, you thieving bitch, you're going to sign some fucking paperwork or I'm going to put your head through this fucking wall. Huh?
Have a gander what my lawyer drafted for you.
You didn't think you were going to leave here without signing this. Anytime anyone says you didn't think you were going to leave here without, that's bad.
There's nothing positive.
It's not positive.
Right?
It's usually, oral sex, I'm going to assume, is going to be the most part. So
to somebody else while he watches. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's not going to be pleasant.
No, never. So 2005, he's with the Dodgers still somehow. June 28th, there's an incident. A 911 operator responds to a hang-up by returning a call, and it's to the Bradley residence. So someone from their house called and hung up on 911. Milton Bradley answers the phone when they call back and identifies himself as a professional baseball player, according to the police dispatch.
Milton Bradley, professional baseball player's house.
Yeah, that's what he
Milton
said.
Bradley.
Milton Bradley, professional baseball player, Indians ID on demand. Got it right here next to my license. He answers the phone, says, I'm a professional baseball player, Milton Bradley, and my wife has struck me and scratched me, he says. He tells the operator that his wife was angry because she believed he was cheating on her, which she's probably right. Police officers went to the house where nobody was visibly damaged, and they determined that neither party wanted to press charges. So that was basically one of those police counseling sessions where they went over, said, no one's going to kill each other tonight, right? It's going to look bad on my record. Okay, everyone's going to be alive tomorrow. All right,
I leave here and
if
my name's on a
leave,
report.
Come on, don't be hitting her.
Don't make me be the guys that let Dahmer have his victim
Come
back.
on.
Right.
A little Filipino child. So, quote from Milton about this, quote, in the past year or two, I've gone away from the church. That's his problem. He said, quote, the first 18 years I was in church every Sunday with my mother.
Right.
I started getting into pro ball, and I didn't want to go to church anymore. I've gotten away from that Christian background and upbringing that got me this far, and God might be using these police, umpires, and media people to get focused back on me and the Lord. Okay.
He sounds like a crazy person.
Let's rewind that narcissist train for 1 second. How fucking narcissistic are you? Quote, I've gotten away from that Christian background and upbringing that got me this far, and God may be using these police. Police, umpires, and the entire media are only tools for God to get Milton Bradley's attention. That's what a narcissist is.
He's got so much time on his hands that he's like, send that cop to get him.
But that
didn't work. Somebody sent an umpire after him. Didn't work.
Have a drunk woman that he's trying to fuck be pulled over on the highway. Do it now. It's God telling us he's got to have an assistant to make. I don't think God's making this stuff happen. He would definitely tell an assistant.
He's clearly got
something like that.
At least some sort of pyramid scheme.
Something, I would imagine so. Now, July 11, 2005, 4:58 p.m., Monique Bradley calls 911 from a neighbor's house. Redondo Beach Police. This is make another visit there. This is the second visit this year. Milton Bradley is no longer there, so they take her statement. He had already taken off. They say that she said that Milton grabbed her right hand and pushed her hand against her mouth, causing her to hit her mouth and crack her lip open. She said that her husband grabbed her cell phone from a bedroom table and threw it at the wall and broke the cell phone into several parts. She then said that she followed him out into the hallway with the cell phone parts. She said that Milton turned around and used his right forearm and pushed her up against the wall. Then she said the forearm was against her throat and she was having a difficult time breathing. So much so, by the way, she's 4 months pregnant at this moment in time. Just a little hint there. When Bradley released her, she told police that she had to go to the bathroom and throw up because of the choking. At that point, she was gagging. She said that Milton then went around the house and picked up all the cell phones, house phones, and her car keys and credit cards and left and took them all. So that's his plan. To take all of her shit.
First, it was just a quit hitting yourself situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
like what you do to your kids. You know, like take their hands
except fucking scary.
Until he starts choking and stealing
blood drawn
shit.
and he's stealing shit and choking and doing anything like that. So Monique Bradley had to go over to a neighbor's house because he took all the phones. And Milton wasn't home when the police arrived there. She told them everything that happened. The police said, quote, had he been there on the 11th that day, we would have arrested him. I guarantee it. She was desirous of prosecution. There was an injury, and that's our standard: physical injury and desirous of arrest. That's enough to arrest him. So he almost would have been arrested. Now, now we'll talk about how they discuss this in court at a later date, in divorce proceedings later on.
Oh, boy.
The police officer said, quote, she was upset and crying. She indicated to me that she was pregnant. She had a small cut on the inside of her lip that was bleeding. Milton Bradley said, quote, she had a busted lip. She was threatening, I'm going to call the police. And I'm like, I'm not staying here because I didn't do nothing. The lawyer said, quote, "Did you ever throw the phone at the wall or anything like that?" Milton Bradley said, "I never threw the phone." Later on, the prosecutor asked Monique, "Has Mr. Bradley prevented you from calling the police in the past?" Monique said, quote, "He'll take my cell phone and the house phones, and when he doesn't do that, he'll say, 'Call the police. You'll be dead by the time they get here anyway.'"
Holy shit!
He would yell at her, and the prosecutor said, or her lawyer said, "What kind of things would he yell at you?" Monique Bradley would said, quote, "Tell me I was stupid, I was a bitch, a whore, a slut, an idiot, and lazy."
Oh, the typical abuse,
the usual abusive assault things.
Have you seen one of those abuse documentaries where they're like,
says
"Hey,
all
if
that
I ever
stuff.
say this shit," that's what he does.
That's all that.
All that typical
the
shit.
Standard. Ask a psychiatrist. What does an abuser say?
Right.
That stuff.
He's a hack. That's what I'm telling you.
Pretty much not original at all. He says later on in these proceedings, quote, "I don't know where the impressions about me come from.
No.
I don't have a bad relationship with anyone."
Okay.
Then he says, this is wonderful here, in their own words, quote, "I'm going to live my life the way I want and not by any guidelines or what the moral majority might want." Wow, I'm my own person. If it's not meant for me to play baseball, whether I bring it on myself or it's brought on to me, okay, I feel there's something ultimately in God's plan that is bigger or better for me to do to help people. I don't look at myself as a Major League Baseball player. I look at Milton Bradley as the man.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, he's
the man.
The problem is when you do something where someone pays you over $1 million a year to do it, they kind of expect you to be that. That's the problem. That's why they pay you all that money. Otherwise, they're not paying you all that money. If you go out there in your normal clothes and you're like, "I'm Milton Bradley, the man," they're like, "Well, we're not fucking paying you. You put on our clothes and get the fuck out there."
Nobody wants Milton Bradley, the man's fucking autograph.
Yeah, no,
Right.
and during the season, you're Milton Bradley, the Dodger, so stop being a dipshit. We're paying you a lot of fucking money.
You're being Milton Bradley, the man who hits his wife.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that was July 11th. All is quiet for 19 days.
Okay.
July 30th.
19 days of marital bliss.
Unbelievable. July 30th, Milton Bradley calls 911. Police officers enter the house, they speak to the couple, and they leave. There's just a check on him. So he's having problems this summer. August of 2005, anger brewing from everywhere. Yeah. He's confronted by the second baseman, Jeff Kent, if I'm sure you remember him. He was a pretty good second baseman, power-hitting second baseman. He's confronted by Jeff Kent for not hustling, okay? Bradley accuses Kent of badgering him all season and not understanding African Americans. He says he calls Jeff Kent a racist all year.
Yeah.
He says, and after meeting with Dodger owner Frank McCourt, he meets with the owner, and then after that, miraculously, he's diagnosed with a torn patella tendon and he's put on the DL. So it's kind of like, hey, your shoulder hurts a little bit, doesn't it?
Right.
I feel like your shoulder's going to hurt for the rest of the year because tell you what, let's make this easy. Because we could just shit can you. It's going to be a lot of publicity. Right. We're going to have to pay you anyway. So tell you what we'll do here. You're hurt, aren't you? You go home, and your checks will keep coming, and we all shut the fuck up about this.
We'll have a seat, and some shit won't bounce.
We'll do that.
And leave Jeff Kent's name out of your mouth. And don't call him racist. Jesus.
Now, Mike Cameron, who was a black guy, another player, said, quote, "There's a different type of fire with him. I think it's more emotional than maybe fire or angry fire. That's who he is. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. We've all had a couple moments where we didn't see things eye to eye." So, yeah, he's had some run-ins. Basically, no one who spends any time around Milton Bradley has not had some sort of something with him, a run-in, an issue, saw him. Ricky Leday, the left fielder of the Indians, and he used to play for the Yankees back in the day, was kind of a busted prospect.
Brutal.
He said, quote, "I tried to be his friend. It's hard because he likes to keep to himself, but we talked about our families. I like everyone in here. We care about him and his family and want him to overcome his problems, baseball aside." So, by the way, that was 3 times the police had been at his house in a 33-day period.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
Oh, my
3 times in a month, and then he had all the shit with the Dodgers, and they were like, "Let's just shut you down for the rest of the year, pal."
Every 11 days, and then he has an event with the fucking club. That's
Unbelievable.
amazing.
It's fucking crazy.
He and his wife sure don't see black eye to eye.
No, they don't. She sees black eye to fucking running away as fast as she fucking can from this poor. No, she's the poor from this lunatic. Paul DePodesta there said, quote, "We were aware," the Dodgers executive, "we were aware that Milton was not entirely happy at different points away from the field, as we are aware with some of our other players. But at no point were we aware of any actual incident or of any actual issue whatsoever," he said. So he's saying, had no idea the cops came to his house 3 times in a month.
Yeah.
No clue.
Nobody told us.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. No one told me shit. Right. 75 games he plays in that year.
Yeah.
Hits .290 with 13 home runs, 38 RBI, and 6 steals, though. That's not a bad. He's still productive.
Yeah.
Teams are going, if we could just
keep his hands in his pockets.
Just get him to calm down.
Right up until he gets on the mound.
Every teams cannot resist that shit. They can't.
Right until he gets to the plate, just keep his hands in his fucking pockets.
Yeah, that's it.
What they need to do.
$2.5 million he makes that year.
Wow.
Not bad. The L.A. County District Attorney's Office declines to press charges for the July 11th incident because of insufficient evidence. Apparently, the victim was interviewed a second time a month later, and there was some variance in the story, and they said it wasn't worth prosecuting, basically. Because then by that time, too, she didn't want to press forward with it by the time they were going to press forward with it. So it's like her story changed, and now she's saying, never mind, so what are we going to do here?
She's an abuse victim.
That's
what happens.
the problem.
Jesus.
Yeah, and they're like, we don't know what to do. Fuck it, I don't know. So Milton Bradley here, such a good guy that the Dodgers. It's Jesus Christ. He's the Dodgers nominee for this year's Roberto Clemente Award.
Get out of my life.
Which recognizes the player who best exemplifies the game of baseball, sportsmanship,
and
community involvement, and the individual's contribution to his team. You get thrown out all the time and call the captain of the team a fucking racist. What are you talking about?
Well, he does involve everybody.
He does. That's
throws
true.
The bottle at the guy in the stands.
And he did say nobody's not seen eye to eye with him at some point, Mike Cameron said. So everyone, he shared experience.
Right. He involves everybody in this fucking tornado.
Thank fuck he doesn't win it, because that would have been embarrassing, especially later on.
He didn't win it?
No, he does. No, he's thank fuck, because that would have been really bad. He is out. Ends up being out for the remainder of the season because of a knee injury at the end of the year. We have another in their own words here. I just want to give him a chance. In their own words, quote, "The events written about are very regrettable. Any problems reported have been exaggerated, but nonetheless, my wife and I have resolved all issues. The incidents reported will remain private and personal. At this time, I am choosing to handle this matter and all future matters directly and confidentially with the Dodgers." So
we'll handle this internally.
New future, everything's fine. He says this in December. December 11th, 2005, Monique gives birth to their first child.
Yeah.
They have a girl. Luckily, it's not named after him. December 13th, 2005, 2 days later, he's traded to the A's.
Oh, Jesus.
Get the fuck out of here. We've had enough.
Yeah,
traded,
brand new father.
Yeah, with Antonio Perez to the A's for Andre Ethier, who ended up playing and being kind of a big star for the Dodgers down there. So not a great trade for the A's.
Right.
But they were trying to get rid of him before he cost them anything. January 10th, 2006 now, this is 2 weeks later, whatever, Milton Bradley files for divorce.
Okay.
But he and Monique continue to live together, which is always good when that happens. That's
What is he doing? He's going to have to buy a house for her, put her and the kid up.
Well, let's find out.
Okay.
She says what ends up happening right after this in court documents later. She says, quote, "Milton insisted I accompany him in February 2006 to Arizona for his spring training. He then insisted that I go live with my parents in Cleveland, Ohio, where I have been residing since March 13th. He constantly threatens me by phone and in emails that if I do not do as he instructs and make myself available on a 24-hour basis, he will stop these monthly spouse and child support deposits."
Wow.
So that's what he said. She said.
But you're not married anymore.
No. But they're.
Why does he want to make her available at any time?
That's the thing. If you file for divorce, then you're saying that other person, they don't have to answer the phone at 2 a.m. when you call.
Exactly.
They can be like, fuck this person, they want to divorce me. So 2006, he's in Oakland. He plays 96 games, hits 276 with 14 home runs, 52 RBI, and 10 steals.
Okay.
Not bad for a platoon guy. He makes $3 million bucks.
My Christ.
I'll take that any day of the fucking week,
He's up
buddy.
to $8 million now.
That's not bad.
He's doing well.
Wait till you hear the total at the end. It's a lot.
Oh, boy.
2007 season for Oakland. He has a lot of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
He only plays in 19 games, hits .292, 2 home runs, 7 RBI. He ends up June 29th. That's what he did in Oakland now because he gets traded. June 29th, he has a bunch of disagreements about returning to the lineup after injuries with the management of the A's. So they say, fuck you, and trade him to the Padres. They've had him now. They just got him.
He's playing for every team in fucking California.
He has, yeah. San Francisco is the only one so far. So, and the Angels, too. Kevin Towers, who's San Diego's general manager, said, quote, he has somewhat of a checkered past. We certainly did our due diligence. We felt it was worth it. Other than the domestic violence, first of all, no. Never start a sentence other than the domestic violence. That's right. No, sorry, which sounds so tone deaf as fuck.
Amazing.
This was only 10 years ago. Other than the domestic violence, which was eventually dropped, a lot of these things are like Barrett's situation, who's another guy. He said, he's a very intense player, and in the heat of the battle during a game, sometimes he loses his temper. We felt it was worth it, based on trying to win right now and improve the club. And with what was available, this was the best move to make. Wow. Other than that's how you know you were desperate at the trade deadline, and you're like, I mean, other than beating up his wife, he's a good guy. It's like, whoa.
I mean, what he should have said was the charges were dropped.
Yeah.
But other than
we're
that's
worried.
what he said.
We're worried.
He prefaces his statement.
You can't start
What he should have said is, you guys, there was nothing available.
Yeah.
We had to take somebody that beats their wife.
We're not sure. He said, other than the domestic violence, I mean, you can never, those words are the worst. The manager.
It seems like he figured out that was a bad thing to say.
And then tried to backtrack and explain it.
They were eventually dropped.
And then it was dropped, and you know how it goes. The manager, Bud Black, said, quote, he's 29 years old, he's been around the block, and he knows what's expected. When this guy is physically right, he's quite a major league player. He's shown an ability to play all 3 outfield positions, which gives us flexibility. He's going to help us win games.
Yeah.
Silver, silver, silver. Yeah. Everyone's just silver as fuck.
Hell of a forearm on this guy. He pressed it against a woman's neck and almost killed her.
That's what made her throw up from it. Mike Cameron, the guy we talked to before, he has a different view of the whole thing. He says, quote, this team needs some brothers, too. It needs some color to it. Sunny San Diego, home of the Beach Boys, it needs some diversity. The Beach Boys are from L.A., actually, but I'm sure they seem to have adopted them down there. But, yeah.
Beach community.
Yeah. So the Padres... this whole thing here. By the way, when the Padres, when he was traded to the Padres, it was for Andrew Brown, who he was traded with before for LA. Same guy. The A's end up, they give San Diego $1,360,929 to cover part of his salary.
That's nice.
So get the fuck out. We'll pay someone else to let you play for them. We just don't want you here.
We're selling you and we're paying it.
Fuck it.
That's what it is.
Get out. With San Diego that year, he plays in 42 games. He hits .313, 11 home runs, 30 RBI, which is some pop off the bench. Then, at the end of the season, he is arguing with an umpire, furiously getting into his face, and manager Bud Black comes up from behind to grab him and pull him away. As he does so, Milton's trying to keep turn the other way. They end up tumbling to the ground, and Milton tears his ACL. Wrestling with his manager
over
fighting an umpire. Dumb motherfucker.
That's how hard he fights. He kicks his own ass.
His own fucking ass by his manager, by a retired pitcher. A retired pitcher took him to the
amazing.
ground. $4 million he makes for that little fucking boondoggle that year, though, somehow. October 29th, 2007, he's granted free agency. They're like, you can have, you're gone. We don't need your option. He's pissed off at Billy Beane, the subject of the Moneyball book and movie that Brad Pitt played here. He said, quote, Billy has this really smart aleck attitude about him and a swagger about him that he thinks he's better than everybody else. He would always tell me, when you're on the field, make me look good. But I wasn't making him look good enough because I wasn't out there this year. So when I couldn't make him look good anymore, Jack Cuss stepped in and started getting those homers and making him look good. And that was his new guy. Then he said, this is funny, you've got one black coach, you've got to call him to the office to talk to me? me, he, talking about this black coach, wouldn't have anything to do with the meeting and didn't have anything to say either, but he had to be there. Why? I don't know. Were they afraid of me? Were they afraid I was going to start a fight? I've never fought anybody in my life. Besides my wife, but she doesn't count.
And those charges were dropped.
So apparently, yeah, they brought in a black coach to talk to him when they wanted to talk to him, who was like a base coach who had nothing to do with shit, which is actually a true thing that happens. I remember working for the Diamondbacks in the ticket office, and my friend, there was two managers, and my friend Ralph was one of them, and Ralph's black, and the other dude was like this blonde, dorky motherfucker. Right. And we had this real thug-ass black guy that worked there. He had teardrops on his face and shit.
Oh, my God.
He did like 8 years for manslaughter. Like,
boy.
Cool motherfucker, though. Like, got along great. He sold weed. He was great. But don't piss him off. Right. He looked like fucking Debo, is what he looked just like Debo. Anyway, he was in trouble for being late. And this white manager asked my friend Ralph if he would you sit in the meeting when I talked to him? He was like, "What are you talking about, man? I don't do that." He's like, "You've never asked me to sit and discipline somebody before. Why the fuck do I have to do it now?"
As my black union steward.
That's exactly what it is. Ralph was like, "Fuck that, man. You talk to that black motherfucker on your own," is what he told him. Fucking talk to that guy. He's
like, "That dude killed somebody."
Ralph was like, "He's fucking, so I don't want him pissed at me, man. Fuck you." He's like,
he killed a black guy to get those.
What do you think? He'll be less pissed at me because I'm black? Fuck you, dude.
Those teardrops are from another black dude. You're not putting me in there.
So then he says, "Just look at it. You tell me. It's a mighty coincidence that every black guy who's been there the last 3 years, you can go back to Jermaine Dye, Terrence Long, Mike Singleton, is gone. When I was with Cleveland, I'd ask guys, how do you like it there? And they'd say, we can't get in a game over there. We can't stand it over there. Then I got here and I said, man, I don't see any of that. Then 2007 rolled around and I started seeing it." So he's saying they got racist to him.
All right.
And I didn't like it at all. Now, December 10th, 2007, he signs with Texas, the Rangers. John Daniels, the GM, says, quote, "We're not going to judge him on perception."
No.
Every single one. You know what? Start judging people on perception. You know what perception is? Past actions that have caused a perception.
That's not prejudice.
No.
That's what they're mixing it up with.
If there's glass and there's like light through it and it shines in a certain way and there's water there, that's why. Because the water was put there. That's why there's like a prism through it. That's the fucking point. He's put water on his window, is what I'm getting at. So you can't ignore that.
At minimum, there's smudges on it. It's not good, is the thing. And so, they're mixing up prejudice with, what was the word he said?
Which who? Perception.
Perception.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
he's like, we're in Texas.
Judge him on perception.
Right. He just didn't want to say the word prejudice in Texas.
No, not at all. Because people be like, who are we being prejudiced against now? I'll join. Who is it?
Right.
So 2008, he's in Texas. He has a bit of an issue. Mm-hmm. Shocking. He stopped at the press box from confronting Royals broadcaster Ryan Lefebvre after Lefebvre made a comparison between the troubles of Bradley and Josh Hamilton, who's a mess drug addict player who keeps getting in trouble.
It's not good.
Bradley got mad at that because he compared Bradley unfavorably to Hamilton, who at that point was all clean. He's like, I mean, Hamilton got his life together, but it doesn't look good for Bradley. Says some shit like that. So,
a guy who used to suck dick for coke, and you're comparing a man that hits his wife to him, which I mean is a fair comparison. But a wife beater is not going to take kindly to that.
So, well, what he ends up doing, he's stopped by security as he is what's being called attempted to storm the press box to physically assault this man. Texas general manager John Daniels said that Milton was, quote, acting cordially and just wanted to set the record straight. Milton doesn't cordially set shit straight.
Everybody calls him cordial.
That's the thing. It's like, what does that mean? A Kansas City police officer was posted outside the booth after Bradley climbed up 4 flights of stairs to get to the press level before being brought down back down to the clubhouse by the general manager. In the dugout, he was visibly upset and fighting back tears in the clubhouse when speaking to teammates, crying, saying, quote, "All I want to do is play baseball and make a better life for my kid. I'm strong, but I'm not that strong." I'm not that strong to have a Royals, how many people in Kansas City are watching anything? To have 1,400 people here that some fucking jackass compare you to another player?
In 2007, that team was pretty good, though. People were watching, I think.
No, not 2007. I guess they were getting good
but
then.
But still, who gives a shit what the announcer says?
Even when they're good, no one's watching the Royals. So He was pissed off. Lefebvre says he doesn't even remember what he was saying, what he said that was so bad. He said, the announcer, he said, quote, "We were complimenting Josh Hamilton on how he's turned his life around and taken responsibility for his mistakes." And he's talking about his partner, Frank White. He says, "Frank and I were having a conversation on how it's a shame that it doesn't appear Milton Bradley has done the same thing in his life." So Bradley answers that by going, "How dare you say my life is not together? I'm going to come up there and fuck you up."
Meanwhile, you're the opposing team. They're supposed to say negative things about you.
That's the other thing, you dummy. It's not even your announcer.
You're supposed to be able to take that shit.
Oh, my God. So, anyway, he makes the All-Star team this year.
Wow.
The fucking All-Star team. And he says, quote, "Taking the field in the Big Apple," because this All-Star game was in Yankee Stadium. It was the final game in Old Yankee Stadium, final All-Star game. It was last year. He said, "Taking the field in the Big Apple for the final year of historic Yankee Stadium, where so many greats have stood before me, I am humbled. This is why Jackie Robinson endured unspeakable hate and prejudice. So I, some 60-odd years later, have the opportunity to play this great game of baseball, so I can stand up and be recognized, so I can be proud of who I am, so I can be proud to be an American." This motherfucker just gave a 1985 Hulk Hogan promo. He said everything besides say your prayers, eat your vitamins, believe in yourself, and believe in the power of Hulkamania. He said everything but that, and then flexed and went off the stage with Mean Gene. What the fuck is going on?
Punched a woman.
Proud to be an American. So, in July, this proud American, Monique's pregnant again.
Oh,
which
no.
is, poor Monique. Now let's go to court documents. Quote, Milton Bradley says, quote, "In the summer of 2008, she left. She went back to Ohio and, gave me an indication that she was possibly going to get an abortion." His lawyer said, "Did this turmoil affect your ability to play baseball?" He said, quote, "I never hit over 220 again." Next season, he hit 257, by the way, so he lied about that. He lied.
Also, a woman having an abortion is going to affect your baseball
your
forever?
Baseball, yeah, forever. Forever, Jimmy. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's Jackie Robinson endured unspeakable. He played really well, and but... Yeah.
Jackie Robinson was shouted down every time he went up to the plate and called the N-word.
Guys would
daily
spike him on purpose at first base. At first base. But Enos Slaughter drop kicked him in the fucking leg with his spikes for no reason when he was out by 10 feet.
But this one, a girl might have an abortion.
So I can't play. Can't hit over 220. And now, back to the show. This year, though, he hits 126 games, 414 at-bats. He hits 321, 22 homers, 77 RBI, and 5 steals. That, an all-star year. Yeah. Team goes 79 and 83. They're not that great. Yeah. He makes $5,250,000 that year.
The Rangers really ponying up.
Not bad. October 30th, 2008, he is granted free agency because they're not interested in keeping him. This winter, he buys a 7,500 square foot house in Encino, California.
What a dipshit.
For $3.7 million.
He's so dumb.
3.7. No job when he bought that. He knows he's going to be signed by someone. He's an all-star last year, but still. January 9th, 2009, someone steps up to the plate and signs him. Chicago Cubs.
Oh, boy.
3-year deal. They're going to take a chance on him.
That's a lot.
$30 million.
Whoa.
There you go. 3 years, $30 million.
Guaranteed
fucking team.
Nothing.
That's nothing, man. Now, what do they say? Dan Jiggets of the Chicago Sun-Times, not the team. This is a writer. A writer, but still, they're rah-rah here. Yeah. Quote, "His fiery attitude and, to agree, his unpredictability is exactly what the Cubs need."
That's what the Cubs need?
Everywhere he goes, they say, this is what they need. A crazy wife beater. Bring him in. Jesus Christ.
Holy shit.
He becomes a real asshole now. Yeah. This is when he picks up his assholery. 2009 spring training. He's in Arizona. Monique gives birth to their second child. Her mother comes to help with the baby, and Milton evicts her from his house. He says in court, he said this in court, okay? Quote, "It's mine. I bought a home. I can say who can come and go. I wouldn't want my mom staying with me, and I don't want her parents staying with me either, so it's my prerogative. I bought the home, paid for it." You're on the road and your fucking wife has 2 small children. Let her mom stay there and help her. What the fuck is wrong with you?
How much does he hate that mom?
Jesus Christ, man. April 2009 is his first home at bat with the Cubs when he is thrown out on the 3-2 pitch I called you about, which was a ball. Sorry. Apparently he said something really horrible about this, but they couldn't. He said one of the things you're not allowed to say. Because he walked away. He didn't even make a scene. He just walked away and was saying shit under his breath. And you see the ump walking, and then he just stops and looks at him, and that's when he's like, get him the fuck out of here. He heard him say something when he was 20 feet away from him.
Got it.
He was still talking shit, and he said the wrong word.
Yeah.
You can say fuck. You can say that's bullshit.
It was probably an
goddamn.
N-word.
He said cocksucker. He said something that the guy wouldn't take. So anyway, he ends up getting suspended for that. 2009, May of 2009, he accuses umpires of widening the strike zone on him, which isn't smart.
It's all against him.
No. Lou Piniella said, quote, there's nothing good that can come out of saying that. Which they're not going to make it better now.
No.
They have control. That year, though, 124 games, he hits .257 with 12 home runs, 40 RBI, and 2 steals, which isn't exactly the all-star performance they signed him on.
That's quite garbage.
He is suspended the final 2 games of this, or final 2 weeks of the season after he made comments to reporters that the Cubs were, quote, not a positive environment, and, quote, there have been a lot of issues that we've lived with during the year. But that's, wow, not great. The Cubs GM said the only real negativity here is his own production. I love a good shit talking. He makes $7 million that year.
Holy shit.
Joke's on you, asshole.
Yeah.
Joke's on you, Silverman.
Yeah.
I'm walking away. Monique Bradley, later on, says of a situation of this time, quote, Milton had gone to Las Vegas and had purchased some presents for me. I told him that I did not want gifts, and he became upset. He opened one of the boxes, he took out a shoe, and hit me on the head with it. I'm sorry. That's not funny.
That's hilarious.
But the fact that he came in with a bunch of presents, I picture him real proud of himself. She's like, I don't want any of your fucking presents. Rightfully so, probably. He's cheating on her, knocking her around, whatever. And then he opens the box, which is the hilarious part. He had the idea, I'm going to fucking get a shoe out of this motherfucker, and then hit her with a shoe. Horrible, but ridiculous.
Meanwhile,
also.
you don't live in Vegas. You just left Chicago. You clearly stopped in Vegas
That's
to party
the thing.
and have a crazy time. And I'm sure you fucked several women.
Yeah.
And then you're going to try to make it up to me with some fucking Jimmy Choos? Get out of here with that.
Take a fucking
and
hike.
And you're going to smack me with the Jimmy Choo? And you're going to hit me with a Louboutin, you
Jesus
dick?
Christ. Her quote, he opened one of the boxes, took out a shoe, and hit me on the head with it. He said, quote, I never hit her with a shoe on top of her head. That is his quote. She then says,
where did you hit her? Because you
where?
hit her.
On top of her head. I didn't hit. On the side of the head, I fucking walloped her, but not on the top.
Right.
She said, quote, we separated in December, only to reconcile shortly after.
What are you doing?
Stop. December 18th, 2009. Traded by the Cubs again. He keeps getting traded.
Wow.
Get the fuck out to the Mariners for Carlos Silva. Jesus Christ. Jack Zidjarenic. I don't know how the fuck is it. Zidjarenic, who was the Seattle GM. I'm sure he's been flung fired by now, so it doesn't matter. He said, quote, it's a new day, new way for this guy. Every fucking time. We have the cure.
It never stops,
Ever,
though.
man. So 2010.
That's amazing. Chicago signs him for $30 million, pays him $7 million of it,
and then trades
him.
Now
so now they're on the hook for $23 million.
A lot of times too, it'll be with like he's traded to the Mariners for Carlos Silva in cash. So yeah, they got cash. So a lot of times they'll offer to whatever the deal is, they'll pay some of the deal.
Sure.
But the Cubs the Mariners are a rich team, so nobody offers to pay shit for them.
They're on the hook for $23 million.
Oakland and San Diego, you make deals with them, you have to pay some of the salary. Fucking the Mariners are like, fuck you, Nintendo owns you, eat dicks.
Got it.
You're fine. Every kid had a fucking Wii and then a Wii U and then eat dicks.
Yeah.
So anyway, 2010, this is an incident here. Monique Bradley says, quote, Milton stated to me that he was going to lunch with Ken Griffey Jr. I joked that maybe he could pick him up in his new overpriced car, which was a Rolls-Royce Phantom. Milton became furious with me. He yelled at me that he hated me, that I made him sick, and that he wanted me to leave. He got very close to my face in a menacing manner, outweighing me by 100 pounds. He then grabbed my laptop computer and smashed it on the floor. He then grabbed my cellular phone and left. I was extremely frightened by his anger and was shaking. The police met me at our residence. That night I checked into a hotel with our children. I believe that Milton's constant tirades, his anger, and his unreasonableness are causing emotional harm to our young children. I'm afraid that Milton will actually take my life. He has threatened to kill me before he lets me leave with his money. Milton makes these statements and comments to me in front of our minor children. Usually, after he yells at me or calls me names, he will send me a message that he is sorry, that he needs me, and that he will ask me not to leave. I've always forgiven him in the past. Living under this pressure is causing me a great deal of stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
He says none of our arguments have escalated into a physical encounter. Her claim that I cursed her in front of our children is also untrue.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like they let her give this diatribe of assault and shit behavior.
Said, nope.
No, not true.
Didn't do it.
She lying, Your Honor.
Wasn't me. So then her lawyer says to her, you and Mr. Bradley continued to have a relationship. Explain that to me. What the fuck? And she says, quote, I knew I needed a divorce. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't right. But I didn't get married to get divorced, and I've tried to work on it.
That ain't true either, Your Honor.
Fuck. God damn it. So, January 9th, that's untrue.
Yeah.
We got married to get divorced, actually.
I dispute all of that, Your Honor.
That's why we signed documents to the like.
There was a post-nuptial saying, just in case.
So, January 9th, 2010, they argue, the Bradleys, at a Long Beach restaurant. Milton leaves Monique there by herself and drives the 40-mile drive home without her.
Oh,
just like, I will leave you here. Monique calls the police and alleged that Milton pushed her in the chest. So he says in court later on, quote, about 30 minutes later, a knock at the door. A policeman said, did you hit her? I go, no. He goes, do you want to let her back in the house? I said, if she knows how to act. I told Monique, quit calling the fucking police for nothing, right in front of the cop. So the cop left. So what? How'd you like to be that cop? Like, holy shit. Milton Bradley said, quote, I do everything I can to keep the peace in our relationship. Her lawyer then says, let's talk about you not being a good husband. Describe why you're not a good husband. He said, quote, because I don't have a good wife. The lawyer said, so it's her fault that you're not a good husband? Bradley said, you get what you give. It's one of my favorite quotes. She said, you've called her a dumb bitch? He said, yes. You get what you give. One of my favorite quotes. Well, you've called her a dumb bitch. Yes, I have. He's like he's like three people at once. That's why
asshole.
This episode's special because it's like 3 crime and sports all in one. It's like 3 different fucking people. So he's still in Seattle. They were going to put up with him for a year here. He is put on this restricted list for 2 weeks by Seattle while he received counseling. He said he was having, quote, unpleasant thoughts and told his wife that he was understanding why some people commit suicide.
Oh.
So they were like, let's get him some help.
Yeah.
Mariners GM here said that Bradley will come back, quote, when we're satisfied that he's mentally ready to resume playing and feels comfortable in his surroundings here. So never, ever.
His playing days in Seattle are done.
So he had apparently left the stadium without permission in the middle of a game the past Tuesday, and underwent his first counseling session Thursday afternoon. He met with Mariners manager, and they said that, they talked about it all.
Sure.
After that, he returned saying, quote, I don't have all the answers. I'm not saying I'm cured. I'm going to believe him there. He hits 73 games. He hits 205 that year with 8 home runs, 29 RBI, and 8 steals. Not a good year. Team goes 61-101. Not good.
That's terrible.
He makes $11 million.
That's fantastic.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
That sounds wonderful.
Wow. Right? Doesn't that sound great?
Jesus.
December 2010, the Bradleys both equally dismissed their 2009 court divorce proceedings.
Yeah.
And on December 31st, they're in New York City to bring in the new year here.
Together.
So there's never going to be a problem here. Monique in court later, we're digging into the court documents. She says, quote, Mr. Bradley got in late and he started arguing. He was already in a bad mood and he took a hotel glass and threw it at me. It broke on my head. I was in shock and blood was just coming down my face. I was trying to clean it up.
Those things are so thick.
Oh, yeah, they're so fucking heavy because people drop them all the time. And they don't want to have to clean up glass all the time, so they're super fucking thick.
Against her head.
She said, where was it? Here, I was trying to clean it up. He wouldn't let me go to the doctor. And he told me I was using too many towels to clean up the blood. Wow.
What?
I guess somebody called hotel security because they heard the disturbance, and Milton looked me in the eye, and he held me, and he's like, quote, don't throw away everything we have, like his future and his job. So I protected him, even though I'm standing there in blood, and he didn't even care.
Wow.
So then they came, and she said, oh, no, I fell down.
Yeah.
And, they were like, you have glass in your hair. She's like, I fell into glass. His attorney asked him, Milton, did anything like that happen? He says, no. All right. So there's that. He's very simple with his answers. Nope. Not me.
That never
me?
happened.
No.
I don't know what she's talking about.
So January 17th.
That's a very descriptive story that didn't happen.
She's very imaginative. January 17th, 2011. Wow. Milton is about to attend a Lakers game, and there's several run-ins when he's about to attend a Lakers game. When he's attending a Lakers game, stay the fuck out of his way. He becomes frustrated when he could not find an expensive piece of jewelry. He then blamed workers in the house for stealing the jewelry and berated Monique for not sufficiently monitoring the workers who were in the house stealing his fucking jewelry.
Yeah.
Stranger stole my shit. That's your fault. Right. Don't you fucking know anything? What's wrong with you? You dumb, lazy, fat, ugly, lazy whore, bitch, slut. Don't you know anything? What the fuck is happening? We're laughing because it's ridiculous that this is a fucking human being. He's an asshole. We're not laughing because it's like, oh, haha, it's fucking ridiculous.
Because that's happening over and over, and it's not stopping.
So he left to the game. Monique took the kids to a hotel. Milton comes home to no one in his house. So he calls and texted Monique and demands that she brings the kids back to him. She doesn't bring the kids back to him. So the next day, she, according to the police report, which is never a good sign, most things, everything I do doesn't have a police report attached to it. So if there's a police report, some shit went sideways, period. Man, Monique was taking the children to school. Milton followed her and pulled up. So he was like stalking, like she's going to take the kids to school in the morning. I'll hang out around the corner. I know which way she comes. Pulled up beside her and said, quote, bring back my kids or I'm going to fucking kill you.
Oh, no. You can't say that.
And then he motioned as if he was slicing his neck with his hand.
He did the
throat slash that the NFL banned like 10 years ago. He did that. That's in the police report.
He can't do that.
Milton, his explanation for this in court later, he said, quote, I said, cut this shit out, take my fucking kids to school. I went like this with his finger on his throat, which means cut that out.
No.
Universally, everybody knows that.
Everybody knows it's the scissors point finger over your shoulder.
I don't remember fucking dipshit Dave Coulier fucking doing cut it out to little fucking Olsen twins slashing at his throat. I don't remember that.
Everybody knows it's scissor fingers point at him, thumb over the shoulder.
He said, like this. No, that means I'll kill you, you motherfucker. That's what that means universally. That's nothing else.
Scissors point over it, thumb over the shoulder.
I love how he said that. Cut that out. Universally, everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
It's not even a question. So while following Monique, Milton called Monique's mother, Judith, in Ohio, demanding that she talk Monique into bringing the kids home. You tell your daughter to do this shit, so then we get Judith up on the stand in
Judith,
court.
remember when I told you to get the fuck out of my house? Here's what I want you to do. Get my kids the fuck in my house.
Then you get the fuck out of my house. Now, Judith, later on, she was supporting Monique's request for a restraining order in court. She said, quote, he told me that if Monique did not return his children, that he would kill her. I said to him that you do not mean that. You're just upset. He said, yes, actually, I do. So he even said, no, this isn't just a rageful utterings. I plan on killing this woman. So,
Milton, you don't mean that. No, I do.
I do. January 18th, 2011, he's arrested by the LAPD for making threats against his wife. Right. Monique receives an emergency protective order. His bail is set at $50,000, which he easily pays because he made $11 million last year, and he's released. His attorney says, Jesus Christ, in court, quote, Monique Bradley understands how devoted Milton is to his children, particularly particularly because he was raised without a father. Yeah. Whenever she gets mad at Milton for something, she decides to take off with the kids. Not for their safety, to hurt him, I guess is what she's saying. By the time the restraining order expired, January 25th, Monique let Milton back into the house.
Monique, God damn it.
She said, quote, because I was still fearful for my physical safety, I hired a security guard to guard our home while Milton was present. Okay.
This
is a new one.
She's spending his money
to hire a security guard to make sure. If you need a security guard in your own home so your husband doesn't beat the shit out of you, no, move out.
This is the most Eminem and Kim relationship I've ever heard of.
She has the means. Yeah. She's even has the balls to go to the police. Right. She hires security guards. Right. She has the means and the wherewithal to do all of this. You can also move out.
Get the bank account.
Come on.
And take
you
everything.
Have parents that support
run.
you.
Yeah.
You have all that shit. I don't know the psyche of an abused person, so never mind. I guess I'm an asshole. But she seems like she has the wherewithal and the state of mind to be able to do it. Is what I'm getting
She recognizes that she's being treated poorly.
She's like, I just feel like it's
deposition.
They said, she said, quote, after he left for spring training, she said, quote, although we have tried to work out our relationship, our marriage cannot be saved. I am moving forward with the dissolution proceedings, that was then. She's moving forward. The next month, his lawyer said publicly, quote, Milton and his wife and children all reside together as a family and request that the media respect their wish that the matter remain personal and private. In fact, I've instructed my client not to discuss his relationship with his wife except at the private conference with the city attorney and with a marital counselor. So, wow, now it's fine again.
Don't tell anybody except for people that have to keep this shit quiet.
Absolutely. Right. Now, 2011, he's in Seattle. Finally, he can concentrate on baseball and just get down to business, leave this woman alone, and stop this insanity. April 12th, 2011. Less than 2 weeks into the baseball season, there is a text barrage that he sends her. Quote, and these are one by one. Quote, your lawyer will get you killed. Tell the police you fuck like a whore does. You get You get whore treatment. You deserve what you get. What you will get. Trust that. Okay. Next message. Play Russian roulette with your life and our children just proves my point. Next one. By the way, all of his U's most of the time are just a U. Yeah. Next text.
That's how I was doing it in my head. Anyway.
Yeah. Next text. Quote, you have no power and never will. Next one. Bet you have a nice funeral. Next one. Die then. Makes me none. Next text. Continue. It just moves you closer to not having me. Next text. And you not having a life.
Oh, my God.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's some threatening, crazy shit. Yeah. That year, he hits .218 with 2 home runs, 13 RBI, and 4 steals in 28 games.
Jesus, that's depressing.
Not a lot of games because he only plays for Seattle until May 16th when they fucking release him. They're
really?
Like, enough of this shit. Yeah. They pay him $13 million that year.
That's how, wow.
They release him, and he still gets big fat checks for the rest of the year.
That's how much they do not like him.
Get the fuck out. Yeah, he's not producing, and he's an asshole. Career totals here, 1,042 games, 3,605 at-bats. He hit .271 with 125 homers, 481 RBI, 88 steals, caught stealing 40 times, which is a terrible ratio. And you ready for the money total, Jimmy?
Oh, Jesus.
$48,422,300.
Wow.
Holy shit.
I mean, $25 million is to tax, but still, he's free and clear over $20 million.
He's been living full-time at the family residence since then in Encino. And on June 3rd, the marriage dissolution case was dismissed. Yeah. They're going to reconcile. Everything is fine. No, seriously, they're at home. They've decided they bought this house in Encino, and they haven't had. The one thing he was happy about is that he finally had fucking time.
Yeah,
because they bought this house. It's a big house in Encino, and $3.7 million is not that much for a big house in Encino like that. So it needed some work. Was the problem, and he kept having a problem with it. And the worst part of it was the plumbing was just awful. Until one day, finally, there's a knock at the door, and it's Paul Calhoun, shit pipe enthusiast. And he says, how is it you come to arrive here? What the fuck is wrong with you? Look, no, seriously. Now, listen to me. I'll tell you right now. I'm the guy, my ad, I got a T-shirt, my hat across my head says, clean your shit pipe, smack your wife. So
Right.
I get it. Sometimes, you think they might need a good smack, but you got to call in the professional. That's
Right.
me. When I smack your wife, she's happy about it. She's like, you know what? I feel better now. It's like in an old movie when there's two people talking and one of them's going crazy, another one smacks him and they go, oh, thanks, I needed that. That's my kind of smack. You throwing fucking hotel. What is wrong with you, guy? Listen to it. I'll clean out your shit pipes, but trust me, your life pipes are what you really need to clean out because they're fucking clogged with impacted shit for weeks. Let's just say that. By the way, I'll tell everybody right now, you included, Milton Bradley, next time you see me, I got a new jingle. We're working on it, but we'll get to that next time. I gotta go. Have a good one. Poof. And a poof of shit juice and all sorts of
and parts of shit pipes.
Parts of and shit pipe elbows. He's gone. Milton's seriously confused, and he turns around and backhands his wife for the intrusion.
He's very right, though. Like, shit pipes and smacking your wife are best left to somebody else.
A professional, yeah. So
you don't want to do your own plumbing.
So September 27, 2011, he's been home barely a few months here, and problems happen. On September 27th, Monique asked Milton where he was the night before. He apparently came home very, very late, and she says that he blew up and then grabbed a baseball bat. Quote from her court document, he was pacing, he was sweating, it was like a batting stance. He didn't swing it at me, though, her lawyer said. Did he say anything to you? She said, quote, he said a lot. I hate you, I'll kill you, you're nothing but a lazy bitch. He walked away and put the bat down, but Monique could not call the police. He took the phones and made me sit there. Keys, phones, everything. She did it again, so she ran out of the house.
This guy with the phones
he's
and
got
keys,
control
everything.
issues.
Yeah,
it's
he
all
does.
control.
Yeah.
You have no power was one of his texts. That's crazy. By the way, that's not the worst text he sent so far.
Really?
The one text he sends will make you want to kill him because he's such a fucking asshole. So she runs out of the house. Police are called. Bradley gets in his car and drives off. He's later tracked down by LAPD officers while he's driving. They detain him without incident. He's arrested for battery in San Fernando Valley. He's booked and released on $30,000 bail. He's out of there. September 30th, 2 days later, Milton and Monique both file individually for divorce. Maybe it's time. In the court documents...
I'm going to file two. You only need one of them.
It's fine.
Right.
Monique claims that he's been, quote, physically and emotionally abusive throughout their marriage, and she would often take him back because, quote, I genuinely believed that one day I could fix him. Then says, I am very fearful that he will try to harm or even kill me.
Nope.
That sounds...
Yeah, that's true.
That sounds likely.
But the real answer is I signed an agreement and I'm worried that I'm not going to be taken care of. That's what it feels like.
Yes.
And he hangs that over her head.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
he says,
constantly.
I will make you broke.
Yeah.
I'll take
You'll
everything
never
from
have
you.
anything.
I'll kill you.
I'll ruin your life.
If you're even alive, I'll ruin your life. But
You're
I could
in
kill
LA,
you.
You could ruin him.
It's community property.
Jesus.
Destroy his ass. So November 2011, it's all going to happen fine now. According to here, his agent arranges for him to have dinner with Monique. He was barred from seeing, and their kids at the time, because they had a restraining order. Monique canceled at that point. She canceled the meeting, and he said that he then found out that her parents were at the Encino residence to help care for the children. And, by the way, help care for her because she's starting to get ill, and we'll talk about that in a second.
That's what this is. He doesn't want anybody to know about how much of a piece of shit he is.
Well, he said, no, he's telling her father right now. Her father, Roger Williams, receives a series of texts from Milton explaining exactly who he's all about. He says, quote, and you mofos need to get the fuck out of my house, and that goes for your hoe of a daughter, too. Try me. Then he says, quote, I'm going to embarrass your whole family when I prove what a groupie hoe your daughter is. Then
oh boy,
he sends her father,
her dad,
Roger Williams, a video of him and her having sex.
What?
He sends her father that. That's possibly the scummiest thing he's done so far. Like trying to embarrass her. Like that's fucked up. Then he texts along with the video, quote, that's your daughter getting fucked, and there's more where that came from.
Ugh.
So Yes. So she requests a restraining order against him. She said in her court hearing, quote, Milton has the access code to our ADT system. He admits in his text messages that he knows where the security guard that I hired to protect me comes and goes. I'm concerned that Milton may possess a firearm. He picked up a magazine entitled 2012 Buyer's Guide Gun Annual and turned to a page of a gun and said to me, this is the gun that I'm going to kill you with. Wow. He plans.
This is what I'm going to kill you with.
So, April 2012, the Bradleys are vacationing together with the children in Hawaii.
What the fuck?
How did you come back from that?
He sent your dad videos of you fucking.
Christmas is going to be super
It's
uncomfortable.
over.
So, Michelle, her attorney, says, quote, and why is that? Why would you travel with him? She said, quote, when we got along, it was the best. I just always wanted to believe there was a better person.
I would like to direct your attention to Exhibit B. It is the video that he sent my father. This is why I went on vacation with him. Do you hear me screaming? Those are throes of passion.
Good God. October 23rd, 2012, Monique suffers a black eye and bruising to the chest.
Oh, God.
She documents this all but does not call police. I've seen these photos of her, and they're fucking rough.
Really?
They're rough, man. And she has bruises all over her neck, a black eye, a chest bruise. It looks terrible. It's fucking, it's disturbing. They look bad. Milton says, quote, Monique walked into a door and fell due to her heavy drinking or because of her medical condition. She'd been recently suffering from chronic fatigue, abdominal pain, severe bloating, which caused her to bruise easily, he says.
Severe bloating.
Doctors have been able to unable to explain her symptoms. The first thing she does in the morning is to start drinking wine. She continues to drink all day, every day.
That door choked her, man. You ever seen a door choke somebody?
They'll do it. It fucking happens, man. Now, Sylvia Ranacci, who was the Bradleys' nanny from 2009 to 2012, 3 years, testified that she never saw Monique drunk or smelled alcohol on her breath. So that's her thing. His attorney asks him, what is your opinion of her testimony that you hit her? Bradley says, quote, Milton, quote, a sad story.
That's what you got?
A sad story because she just hurt herself.
That's so sad.
November 2012, November 4th. He's attending a Lakers game. It's before a Lakers game. Watch out. He's smoking weed outside, right outside the door of his house with a friend of his. Monique said, I opened the door and said, quote, go somewhere else and do that. And he said I humiliated him, and he charged at me, and he strangled me. He lifted me by my throat and threw me against a wall. He carried me from here to here by my throat for maybe 5 or 6 seconds, and then he just kind of dropped me.
Wow.
Like a fucked up wrestling move. Picked him up and then dropped her in a heap on the ground. November 28, 2012, there's a text message from Milton to her about paying for her security. He says, quote, you must have lost oxygen to the brain while getting choked out. If you think I'm paying for your bogus security, get the fuck out, bitch. So he admits that he choked her in that text message, which is not fucking smart. Finally, you fucking asshole. Which is tons of texts that are threatening. January 2013, he's charged with abusing his wife. Finally, it's 13 misdemeanor counts, including assault with a deadly weapon, vandalism, 13 misdemeanor counts, and then assault, vandalism.
Assault with a deadly weapon. How'd they figure out how to make that shit a misdemeanor?
Dissuading. This isn't Baltimore. That's a Wire reference, by the way. Watch the fucking Wire. Vandalism, dissuading a witness from making a report. He faces up to 13 years in jail if convicted.
Holy shit.
This is no shit. So it began on May 10th, the trial in Los Angeles Superior Court. It's Judge Thomas Rubinson presiding. Monique testifies that she suffers from a painful undiagnosed abdominal swelling that makes her appear pregnant. She's got some kind of weird thing. Harlan Braun, his lawyer, said, quote, do you think that if you convict Mr. Bradley of spousal abuse, would that assist you in the divorce case? She said, quote, no, I'm just speaking my truth. These are two different things. How he treated me and what I'm doing here today is my own therapy. It has nothing to do with money. Now, domestic violence, expert on the stand they put up said, quote, for women with upper-class lifestyles, it's not that easy to leave abusive spouses because they don't always have the purse strings. That's a good point. Yeah. Then they want to talk about it with their peers, and their peers don't want to hear it because they're all in comfortable shit too. They become cut off from their support systems because they're the outlier. That guy's got all the money, and he's it happens too. It's fucked up. I didn't even think of that. Sorry, Monique. Monique said, quote, Milton has even blocked my ability to submit my medical bills for any potential reimbursement because he refuses to provide me with the information for processing the claims. Yeah. Won't even let her process insurance. June 3rd, 2013, it's a 12-day trial. During the trial, he denies he ever hit his wife, like we said. They depict his attorney depicts Monique as a manipulative woman who married Bradley in order to place herself in proximity to his wealth and trappings conferred on as a professional athlete. And also they both asserted that Monique had struggled with a drinking problem. 2 days of deliberation, the jury convicts Milton on 9 counts, including inflicting corporal injury on a spouse or cohabitant, assault with a deadly weapon with the baseball bat, criminal threats, brandishing a deadly weapon, and then a bunch of misdemeanors. He's allowed to make bail. What? Because Monique's health is worsening and he has to take care of the kids. So he's allowed to make bail. July 2nd, 2013 is sentencing. Judge Rubinson says that Bradley maintained a, quote, constant sense of fear and violence in the couple's home. He said that Bradley showed a fixation on particular objects, and his wife was just another one of his things to manipulate and overpower. He says, quote, everything is about me, my car, my house, my kids, and ultimately my woman. You seem to be a balled-up fist of a man. Mr. Bradley created and maintained an atmosphere of fear and dread and of humiliation. Monique Bradley walked around on eggshells in this house, and I imagine that their young and impressionable children did so as well. You, sir, may fuck off. That's a good one there. You, sir, may fuck off. He sentences Milton Bradley to 32 months in prison, which not that much, but it's still fucking prison.
A start.
And 52 weeks of domestic violence and anger management classes.
That's a year.
He must perform 400 total hours of community service after his release, half of which will include volunteering with a youth-based baseball league for underprivileged kids, which he should be fucking doing anyway. Yeah. The judge said that it was heartbreaking that Bradley never offered to coach or help out with his son's baseball league.
Not once.
Not once. As well as he also...
A baseball player, not fucking
not
once.
Not at all. Couldn't be bothered. He'd have to talk to everybody. The court also ordered Bradley to stay away from his estranged wife and her parents, and he's also on 5 years probation later on. But he is released on appeal to appeal it on $250,000 bail. He remains free.
My Christ.
September 14th, 2013, Monique Bradley dies at Encino Hospital Medical Center at 33 years old.
From what?
Death certificate lists the causes as cryptogenic cirrhosis of the liver. It's unknown origin. They don't think it's from drinking. It's like a genetic disorder. Hemorrhagic shock and cardiorespiratory arrest. And she's 33 years old.
Damn it.
Fuck, man. I mean,
was
Jesus
that toxic
Christ.
Shock?
I don't know what it was.
It might be.
Whatever it was in cardiorespiratory arrest. Her system shut down, basically.
She just quit.
I mean, fuck. I mean, yeah, we talked a lot of shit, all these fucking, he disrupted everybody's goddamn baseball team and shit like that. But this fucking woman, he abused her for 10 years and fucking all this shit till she was sick and actually died. And now his kids not only had to watch that, all the abuse and all this shit and all the yelling and all this, but now their fucking mother's dead. They probably think the father
had something to do with it.
Yeah, I would think so if you're scared of him anyway. I feel bad for these kids. I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. All of them, but not nearly as bad as I feel.
The most dark.
That was a good one.
That was
I
dark
got good there. I know. I set that up on purpose. What do you want from me? Milton Bradley, field supervisor at Platinum Fire Protection, LLC, in the greater Boston area. Milton Bradley, electrician at MV Electrical in the greater Boston area.
Poor bastard.
Milton Bradley, district branch manager at Finco Financial Services in the greater Los Angeles area. Milton Bradley, master songwriter at Milton Bradley Music Corp in San Diego. In other words, some dipshit who writes songs and claims to have a company for it. Milton Bradley, the game publisher and pioneer, obviously, the guy who made the Milton Bradley Company. This man came up with Monopoly and Life, and he knew how to stay out of trouble because he made the rules of life. He said, quote, "The game represents and indicated by the name the checkered journey of life. To gain on this journey that which shall make him the most prosperous, and to shun that which will retard him in his progress." That's what Milton Bradley said.
The mission statement of the game had retarded.
Yes, absolutely. And finally, Milton Selmer Bradley, a convicted sex offender from Utah, who was convicted of aggravated sexual abuse of a child in the first degree and sodomy on a child in the first degree in 1999.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. So,
keeping that bad name going.
What the fuck?
All right.
January 21st, 2015, L.A. Appellate Court rejects Bradley's appeal of his criminal conviction. He's still free pending a second appeal. Still hasn't spent a fucking day in jail over this.
Nothing.
And he has a sole custody of his kids. And she's dead.
Our system is so ruined.
Oh, it is, man. May 15th, 2015, his attorney argues that his jail sentence should be negated so he can continue parenting his two children that he fathered with his deceased wife. Both the kids are under 10. Good God, have a heart, Judge.
Yeah.
Following the death, Milton Bradley has sole custody. Bradley still, when he's given an opportunity to address the court, though, rather than saying, "I loved her, she's a wonderful woman, and I'm just sorry she's gone, our troubles were this and that," he
Y'all
says...
want to see a video?
Yeah, I got a video. Hey, what's your number? Let me text you this shit. You got AirDrop? So Bradley instead claims that Monique's drinking is at the root of their troubles, even though people have testified that she wasn't a heavy drinker. She says this in court to the judge to try to get sympathy. Quote, "Ray Rice slaps the hell out of a woman. You know, I didn't do that. I'm not Ray Rice. Greg Hardy beats up a woman. I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's obvious to everyone that this is a complete farce. This woman is an alcoholic. She drank every single day." That's what he said to try to get sympathy from the judge. The judge, same judge, Rubinson, called his final request for leniency, quote, breathtaking, frankly, in how callous it was. He said, "Well, Mr. Bradley, the fact that you're saying things like that to me is not a good sign."
That's awesome. He goes, breathtaking. I'm sure he was jacked. Do you hear that? I took his breath away.
I took his breath away.
It was callous.
No shit. Fuck, man. So the parents of Monique are now expected to seek custody of the children also through all this. 2006, his final plea for no jail. Bradley's now softened up a little bit. He asked the court for a sentence reduction. He says that it's all about contrition, all about I'm sorry. He tells the judge that he understood the ruling and vowed to continue to work on myself. I'm going to prove myself. And the judge says, "Well, you can do that when you're in jail for 32 months. Appeal denied, fuck off." And he's taken to fucking jail. So he serves 15 months in jail.
Jesus.
15 months. He gets out in 2017. January 28th, 2018, 10:40 a.m. at his residence in Encino, police receive a call from a woman about 8:50 a.m. saying that a man had threatened her. They show up. It is Milton Bradley, charged with spousal battery from an altercation with his second wife, Rachel.
He's now remarried.
Married again. Police documents allege that Milton and Rachel, they've been married for 2.5 years, right after she died, the other one, went out to dinner to celebrate Rachel's birthday. A female friend of Rachel's was with them. At the meal, or after the meal, they had a verbal dispute, the couple, inside of an Uber, which is what an Uber's for, which continued when they reached the home they shared in Encino. That night, Rachel ends up telling the police that Milton grabbed her around the neck and threw her onto a couch. Rachel's friend and babysitter was hired that evening to take care of Milton's two kids. Saw Bradley verbally abusing Rachel, but not physically abusing her. Both said that Rachel Bradley told them about the assault and about being thrown onto the couch. Later, though, Rachel recants her statement. She's still in the point of I'm trying to protect him, where she was. Now he's got a whole 10-year thing till he kills this one. He didn't kill the other one, but you know what I mean.
He
didn't help.
Right. Gives her enough emotional stress and turmoil to cause a fucking sickness.
Yeah, she recants the statement telling police that she made up the abuse in order to get her husband in trouble, which sounds like exactly what he told her to say.
Right.
The two witnesses maintain that Rachel said she kept telling us she got assaulted. Right. She had no reason to lie to us. We're not the police. According to a worker assigned to, the Department of California Family Services, a worker assigned to safeguard the children, quote, Bradley came in with an attorney and minimized the incident. He said they went to dinner and had been drinking. He acknowledged that he gathered items in the home that belonged to his wife's friend and, quote, threw them outside during the incident. He said, and get this bitch out of the house, and threw all her shit in the front yard.
I paid for this motherfucker.
I paid for this fucking house. He's
he
really
reminds
into
me
that.
Of what Eddie Murphy did of his father.
His father, yeah. He's Eddie Murphy's father, but
Eddie
not
Murphy's
drunk,
right.
but sober, which is frightening.
Sober going, fuck you, Gus.
Yeah, fuck you, Gus. At the time of this, Bradley's still on probation for conviction of violence against his dead fucking wife.
I couldn't wait for you to say this.
He's expected to appear before the judge to determine if it's been violated. April 10th, 2018, Bradley's wife is in the courtroom on Tuesday for the arraignment, sits next to Milton in a show of support. Milton, though, got no special treatment. They said the judge ordered deputies to handcuff him and take him into fucking custody.
Yeah.
Bail set at $175,000.
He's got it.
Higher than normal due to his prior convictions. He could face a year in jail. He ends up being convicted after a plea agreement with prosecutors on the domestic violence case. He pleads no contest to domestic battery charges. As a part of the agreement, he's sentenced to 36 months probation.
What?
Nothing. After all this, he said he, quote, roughed her up before he left the scene. That's what he finally admitted. This happened, by the way, like a week ago.
Yeah.
Like if we did this story before, none of this comes out. Like I looked at him last year, none of this would have been on there.
Right.
So that's crazy. The John L. Wertheim, they did like an update piece to him because they did the first one in 2015. He says that basically Wertheim said how the media team officials, it's the same talking point, like we said at every stop. He said, quote, we can rationalize an awful lot of bad behavior if you want the player badly enough. You could cut and paste the quotes, quote, troubled but talented, volatile but passionate. In fairness to the teams, his trial wasn't until after he was done playing. I'd hope in 2015 we'd have more awareness. Yeah, that needed to be the end of that.
Serviceable but violent. How about we say that shit?
Yeah, serviceable but fucking risky.
Right.
You never know.
How about we put the positive thing before the... We don't say the little negative thing and minimize it.
That's what they do. That's exactly what they do.
He can hit a ball...
Other than the domestic violence...
also a wife.
You say, other than the domestic violence, and sweep that under the rug. Can't get enough of Milton Bradley? Amazon.com.
He can throw a baseball as fast as he throws a hotel glass.
That's
Say shit like that.
Come on. Amazon.com. Milton Bradley signed official Major League Baseball. Autograph it is $63.89 plus $10.95 shipping.
That's way too much.
Or make an offer. How about $5 and eat fucking shit?
How about
that includes shipping.
Holiday Inn tumbler.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yes, you can get it as soon as June 29th if you order expedited shipping. 2001 Fleer Showcase baseball card. It's an autographics silver. It's like kind of like a fake autograph on there, whatever, decent looking card. And finally, the game of life. Play it and do better than fucking Milton Bradley did at it. How's that? That's Milton Bradley, everybody.
That's the best thing ever on eBay.
It's Crime and Sports for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I think there's something they can do to tell us about it. What do you think, Jimmy? You can get on iTunes and tell us you liked it. Give us 5 stars. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions. You can do that by going there, or you can find the link, I think, through our website, which is shutupandgivememurder.com, where you can get T-shirts and donations and do reviews and do everything. Like I said, donations, like our amazing list of producers that we're going to talk about in a moment. And if you'd like to be one of these amazingly fine, tremendous, heroic people, you can do that by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports or heading over to PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. You want to follow the show at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook. Find us. We're on there. Just search for Crime and Sports. With that said, Jimmy, I would like you to do me a favor. I would like you to hit me hard right in the face with this list of goddamn names. Let it fly, Jimmy, like a hotel glass from across the room.
This week's executive producers are Devin, not David.
Right off the bat. Right out of the gate.
Name number
Shit,
1.
Wrong.
Devin Keeney. God damn it.
Wow, let's start that name over again. Let's give him his proper due, Jimmy. What do you say?
Devin Keeney, Savannah Briand or Bryand?
Well, either way, I think you covered it.
I got all of them.
We got them all.
Wendy Skenzel. Skenzel. Wendy and Savannah, thank you very much.
Thank everybody.
Happy birthday to Sandra in Sacramento. Timothy Palm. Louisa Merlino. That's what it is. Why do I have that? I don't know why that's so close up there. That's weird. Morgan Marsh, Heather Every. Slim Charles' nephew. I don't know who that is.
I love that guy on Twitter.
I don't know if that's for real.
Probably not, but he loves The Wire, and we talk a bunch of Wire shit all the time.
Real.
I like that dude on Twitter.
I want that to be real.
I would hope
so. I don't know the character, but he's
great.
If he's really his nephew, that's cool.
Slim Charles, if it was an athlete, if it was a team, he's a great clubhouse guy.
Okay.
He's a team player, Slim Charles. He's just the best clubhouse guy you can get. He's like Black Kurt Rambis, this guy. He's tremendous.
Is he dead? Does he have big goggles?
Slim Charles?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Slim Charles is a survivor.
Okay.
And Slim Charles knows which way to slide when the heat's on.
William Jones, Jenny Catherine, Kelsey Hebert last week sent us dough, and she was DBA, by the way. And when I said DBA, I don't get what that is.
Oh, cool.
That was her.
Thank you so much.
It was a typo. It was an accident.
Sorry we missed you.
Whoops-a-daisy. Amy McNelly, Tracy DiMartini, Lino Lakes, or is it Lino Lakes? No, it was Lino, right?
It's fucking Lino. Trust me.
Lino Lakes Pronunciation Fund. That's who sent us some money.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Graham Luber, Kelly Jo Blair, Lauren Demarath in Chicago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Demarath. Oh, she's the gal that gave me breakfast after the show.
Yeah.
Lauren, thank you so much.
That's cool. Thank you.
Stacy Lenkto, Jeremy Ardone, Stephen Mace, Troy Huseby.
Hey.
Dean Chandler, Lee Bridger, Sarah Carter, Mike Lane, Oliver Watson, Stephanie Wheeler, Sarah Lawson, Mariah Menhir.
Oh, we love her over there.
Luke Young.
The best over there in Amsterdam.
That's where she's at.
Yes, Dutch.
I think so. She is Dutch.
She's
That's
our
right.
Dutch friend.
She's got wooden shoes and shit.
Yeah.
Jesse Dodson, Amy Chamberlain. I think it's it's Chaberlain. Chaberlain? I don't know if there's an M. I don't know if I missed an M.
Did you just forget the M, or does it just... Okay.
I don't know.
We'll say it both ways.
I think it's Chamberlain.
All right. Chamberlain. Perfect.
Bilski in Omaha, Scott McDonald, Darren Mihal, Allison Blazek, Kyle Parks Damon. Yes, Damon. I almost called him Damone. I don't know why I almost did that.
Damone.
Ashley Boxler ×2. Thank you very much this week, Ashley. That was nice of you.
Thank you.
Caitlin Mia, Clint Randall. Yeah, Clint Randall. James Asalta, fucking every week.
Dude, thank
James
you.
is full.
God, we're blown away, man.
Did I
Thank
say
you.
That? That was gross.
Yeah.
James is full.
Yeah, let's...
Thanks, James.
Wow. James, you're a hell of a guy, buddy.
I was going to say donate several times, but I've said that already, and I was trying to change it up.
That's amazing.
So I've got jammed full of James.
Jammed full.
Jessica.
That sounds bad, too. Well, leave me out of this, Jimmy.
Asalta. He jams us full. Asalta. Jessica Manor, Jesse Bastian, Kazumasu Takikawa. That's
wow, nice. I like that.
I
awesome.
fucking throttled that one. I can't get Devin Keeney. Right. Francisco Bento, Dustin Coleman, Greg Kuima, yes. Molly Sunshine, Nathaniel Gamachi, Alexis Ohms, Amanda Petrovito, yeah.
Hey,
Petrovito.
Hooray. How you doing?
Alexandra Dolezal, that's a brutal last name now,
yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
a tough one.
That's a tough one to fucking run through the rest of your life with, Alexandra.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about your life. Sorry, you're dealing with a liar. Aaron,
not our problem.
Aaron Gerald, Natalie Ulvin.
Probably, yeah.
Yes, Natalie Ulvin.
Pamela and Natalie are going to be here tomorrow.
Nick Mahmoud, that's it. Mariella Rosas, Renee Wallen, or Rain Wallen, that's it. Fucking with Jimmy. Yep. I deserve it.
You did it. Yeah, you got that.
Kaylin Simpson, Tom Day, Nick Judkins, Kristen Solasinski. Yes.
Hey,
Meg
that
Keane.
sounds pretty good.
I know. I nailed it. Meg Keane, Jake LeBeer, Victoria Payne, Lauren O'Brien, Dean Chandler, Stephen Nash, Donna Leonard, Jessica Vallerine. Yes. Christine Campbell, Kiara Mitchell, Under the Sea Fabrics, Mike K. I'm an idiot. Bonnie Milne, Meg Smith in Detroit. Thank you, Meg. Jero or Yairo.
Yeah, probably
could
Euro.
Be. Yeah. Bonnie Milne, I said that.
Like
Julia Miller.
Guy.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. Paul Roost coming through again. Thank you
we
so
love
much,
Paul Roost.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Unbelievable work this week, Paul.
Yeah, man.
Your fucking
That's
memes
great.
were fantastic.
Lots of Probert to go on there.
Give your little guy a hug for us.
Yeah,
Richard
definitely.
Cauty. Renee Rath, yes. Kate Myers, Aaron Laporte Rader, Brandy Dunkel, Shitface McGee, Greg Zydonk, I think, yes. Tyler Gwill, Adam Thorpe, Jesse Hartman, Patrick Feta, E. Bitch. I don't know what that is.
Bye.
Triple E, bitch.
Triple E, bitch.
And Aubrey Kimball. Thank you guys so much for being so fantastic to us. We can't do it without you, and I can't understate that. You guys are fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you so much, everybody. You guys are the best. We say it every week.
Truly. Thank you, guys.
We mean it no less every week. Yeah. We really, honestly, you guys keep this show going, and we do the show because you guys like it and because you donate to us, and we feel obligated to always give you this show. And honestly, how could we not tell the story and not enjoy ourselves? We love it a lot. It's a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much. And what if these people wanted to tell you how much fun you were, Jimmy? How can they do that?
You can find me at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I appreciate everything you guys do for me. Thank you very, very, very much.
Very much.
What about you?
I am at Jimmy P is Funny. You can find me there or copy and paste my last name from the show description for other formats. It doesn't matter. Don't try to spell it because you will hurt yourself and you'll end up feeling like you've been in a conversation with Milton Bradley. Nobody wants that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that wild ride. Like I said, this was 100% pure asshole.
So stupid.
And a crazy ride down a grease-slicked snow hill. Like God, Clark Griswold in Christmas Vacation.
What he deserves.
No, of course not.
How crazy.
He's got probation. Now, don't worry, he'll hit her again, which sucks for her, but he'll end up in prison, hopefully.
And
that'll end up happening.
If she smartens up and gets the fuck out of there, there's going to be another. It's going to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen. Even if she dies, he'll have another one. But we'll find out about that, and we'll find out maybe there'll be a different one next week. Until next week, everybody, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.